Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are NC.
And Jeremy Guthrie has thrown his first Major League shutout.
And he was just magnificent.
Jeremy Guthrie set the tone last night, holding the White Sox to 4 hits in his first Major League shutout. So that sets the bar high for Wade Davis. He pitches Game 2 next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium, where we might see 60 degrees today for Game 2 between the Royals and the White Sox. Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Welcome back to Royals baseball. And if you've been following the season, then you know this good start has been fueled by very good pitching. And it was again last night with Jeremy Guthrie's first Major League shutout. Now, we know some things about good teams, and the Royals are a good team right now. They get good pitching, and they play very well at home. And if you go back to last year at this point, the Royals' 2 biggest problems were playing at home and earned run average. ERA was about 4.5 at this point last year, as opposed to under 3.5 right now. The Royals were 2-11 at this point last season at home, and now they are 9-4. And let's bring in Rex Hudler. And that crowd here last night was so energetic for Jeremy Guthrie. He talked about that after the shutout, and that same crowd would love to get behind Wade Davis today.
Yes, and they will, Ryan, if he can somehow find a way to stay out of the middle of the plate. Now, the league so far early this season for Davis against him has hit close to 370. We're going to show you the good Davis and the bad Davis. This, unfortunately, in Philly was the bad Davis. Look where these balls are. Home run, up, elevated, middle of the plate. Another home run. And a solid contact right there. You know, you've got to stay out of the middle. These guys let you know. Now, the good. Look where he is. He's on the outside part of the plate there. Stay away from the middle, and you're going to be fine. Davis just has to be able to execute his pitches when they need him to, and to try to somehow right his ship.
And that good Davis was against the Braves, and at that time they were the best team in baseball. Not a lot of offense for the Royals last night. It was enough, but they had several lineouts to the outfield, and they're poised for a big breakout today.
couple of tough starts in a row and hoping to get back on the winning track. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg over by the Royals bullpen. It's a bullpen that hasn't needed a lot of work. Last night, the shutout by Jeremy Guthrie. The Royals have 2 complete games so far this year. That's tied for the most in the majors. Only LA in the American League is the other team to do it in this league. And if you look at the Royals going deep into games, they have had 5 times where a starter has gone 8 or more innings. That's the amount they had all of last year total. So Ned Yost calls it a continuation of good things when they talk about this rotation, and they're hoping for Wade Davis to be able to do that today. Davis, when you look at his numbers, well, he has had a lot of good against the White Sox as a reliever and as a starter, and all 4 of those starts were quality starts. Ned Yost saying it's about location with Wade. Need to keep the ball down and work the corners. If he can do that, he will have a good day and go deep into the game. So the Royals and Wade Davis set to take on the White Sox. It's the second of 3. Ryan Lefebvre and Russ Hudler have the call of the game coming up next on Fox Sports Kansas City. Enjoy it, everyone.
Baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And by AT&T, the wireless receiver only from ATT Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Today's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. May get up over 60 degrees today. This is game 2 as the series turned into a Saturday, Sunday, Monday series. So the finale is tomorrow at 1:10. And the White Sox batting order, and they have really struggled on offense. Last in the league in runs scored. They're the only team in the American League with fewer than 100 runs scored. And Adam Dunn, who was the American League's comeback player of the year last year, is off to a 143 start. And Paul Konerko is just batting 238. And they'll be facing right-hander Wade Davis today.
Okay, right-hander Wade Davis has got to be able to incorporate some way to stay out of the middle. Incorporate the sinker. His fastball, he cuts it 91 to 95 miles an hour. He's got a late breaking slider and an effective changeup. And wants to continue the momentum that was left on that mound last night by Guthrie. And he can do that if he can get out of the first few innings, gain some confidence, staying on the corners like that first fastball there.
Just missed outside to Alejandro De Aza, who was 1 for 4 last night. Long run for Alex Gordon, and it will drop foul, and it is 1-1.
You mentioned the struggling Sox a little bit this year with the way they're hitting, and especially with their average with runners in scoring position, hitting just 196. The White Sox can't expect any sympathy cards from the Kansas City Royals, and they have dominated the Sox in the past. So Robin Ventura wants to keep it simple. He says, I'm going to try to move my runners. I'm going to get them on. I'm going to try to play small ball if we have to. Anything to generate some runs against the Royals, who've been dominant against him.
One and two, and that's about all the Sox have been doing consistently on offense, is hit home runs. They didn't hit one last night, which put an end to a streak of 11 straight games with at least one home run. By the way, Tampa Bay, their long streak came to an end in Colorado, of all places, last night. They had home runs in 17 consecutive games, so those two streaks both came to an end last night.
Trying to find a way to finish hitters off without going into deep counts is another key for Davis.
Got the call on the curve.
It's another thing Salvador Perez will do more often with Davis. As Dave Island, the pitching coach, said, bring in the breaking ball a little bit more and earlier. Use it because you got to mix them. All right, Miguel Tejada's getting a start at second base. It's a left-hander pitching against him. So Ned Yost is going to give his veteran some reps out there, and hopefully he can help the team win. That's all Miguel wants to do.
Oh, and 1 on Jeff Keppinger. And Davis just misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Keppinger, another one of the White Sox struggling hitters at just 186 and just 1 for his last 13. The season series is tied between the Royals and the White Sox at 2 games apiece, but Chicago has done very little on offense. The most they've scored in a game against the Royals is 5. And the Royals have really pitched the top 2 hitters well, keeping them off base. So there's nobody for Rios, Dunn, and Konerko to drive in. And with De Aza striking out, he and Keppinger are just 3 out of 33 against the Royals this year. And he hits a shot right by Davis's ankles and into center field. 1 on, 1 out.
Keppinger, you see that funky stance he's got to start. Only thing that moves is his leading leg. So his head's not moving or anything, but he uses that to generate some timing. A lot of hitters, they all have different starts. Very rarely do you see the same batting stance as far as getting ready to hit a ball. They all have differences, but there's one thing that everyone has in common: when the ball's on the way and it's in the contact zone, the hands and everything are the same when it comes to hitting the ball. But to start, everyone's different. Everyone has their own way to start. See, this Keppinger, his head's still, and therefore he was able to stay on that ball and guide it up the middle. Toe tappers, there's flamingo, guys that lift their leg in the air. There's a lot of different starts, but the main thing is to be comfortable and relaxed so you can react quicker.
And that wasn't a bad pitch by Davis. That was down. And remember, when he pitched on Monday against Cleveland, a lot of the hits early in the game were down in the strike zone or on the outer edges of the strike zone. It wasn't until later in the game that he started getting balls up. And Cleveland had a 6-run 5th inning against Wade, but It appeared early in that game that he had made the adjustment from his previous start in driving the ball down in the strike zone. Oh, 2 on Alex Rios, who was 0 for 4 last night. And now 0 for 5 in the series. And that looks like a hitter who was guessing.
And when you're 0 for 14 off of a particular guy like Rios is against Davis, you don't have any confidence at all. That's the really good breaker there. That started it at the belt, and with the tremendous torque and the spin on the baseball made it drop straight down. Those are hard to square up.
So Adam Dunn with a runner at first, 2 down. 0 for 3 with a walk in last night's game. No balls and 1 strike. Now Dunn has had a really bad time on the road. 3 out of 47. And Hosmer got a glove on it. And now a race. Davis and Dunn to the bag, and Wade Davis is there. So Hosmer makes a great play on a smash from Adam Dunn, and that keeps the White Sox scoreless in the first inning.
Woo, man, soft hands there. Almost twisted him up. Nice recovery.
Left-hand pitcher today, and nobody has been better in the American League against lefties than Alex Gordon, who is hitting .472. And this is a hitter who struggled for the most part early in his career against lefties, but has changed his approach, and that has really paid off. In fact, here are the Royals' numbers this year against left-hand pitching. Alcides Escobar, one of the best in the league. Lorenzo Cain, Jeff Francoeur, they're all in the top 10 in the American League against left-hand pitching. Eric Hosmer is hitting .313 against lefties. And today, that lefty will be Jose Quintana.
And Mr. Quintana is a pitch-to-contact type of guy. He's not overpowering, 88 to 92. He's going to have a little bit of sinking action to his fastball. Big curve and changeup are his off-speed pitches.
And Alex shortening up and taking a fastball for a strike.
Quintana's been good on the road this year. He's 1-0 with a 1.93, 16 strikeouts in 3 road starts. So he's been good on the road. 203 average is all he's given up on the road. Works quickly. He's a young guy. I'd like to see him make some more early count outs so he can stay in the game longer.
Deep short. Ramirez from the grass. One hop to Dunn, who uses his height and his length on the stretch to get Alex Gordon.
Okay, on contact, Gordon thought he had a chance, but Ramirez didn't even take a crow hop to throw it. That's why he was able to get him out. It was all about being quick there. And defensively, they've had their issues. They're last in the league in fielding now. They've made 20 errors. They made a few last night. They're a team that's not bad, but if you don't catch the ball, you don't win. It's as simple as that. You can't be giving your opponents extra outs.
And that was Hector Jimenez, who's behind the plate for Quintana. With Tyler Flowers, the backup, becoming the starter now with A.J. Pierzynski going to the Rangers. And 30-year-old Hector Jimenez getting his first legitimate shot in the big leagues.
Jose Quintana has a little deception. He's got a small little pause in his when he starts his windup.
Two and one on Escobar. 1 for 4 last night, but he lined to the outfield 3 different times.
Okay, there's that little pause. He starts and then he kind of hesitates a little bit, and then he has a little bit of a quirky move. And it may not be that deceptive, but sometimes in a timing sport, it can be. And you're trying to time the pitcher. Escobar 3 for 8 lifetime off of Quintana.
And a smash right to Gillespie at third base. He was able to get his glove in between the ball and the dirt.
All right, here we go. This is what a hitter sees. Okay, a little pause, then he rocks his right leg just a little bit. Didn't fool Escobar there.
Well, I tell you, that replay too shows you how hard that ball was hit. I mean, the ball was barely out of his hand, and he was already jerking his head over toward the third baseman. That's how hot that pitch came off of Escobar's bat. Billy Butler 0 for 3 last night, but he was hit by a pitch with 2 outs and nobody on in the first inning. And then Eric Hosmer singled, and then Lorenzo Cain hit a 2-run triple. And those are the only runs of the game. Billy at the time was not very thrilled about getting drilled on that elbow pad above his left arm, his left elbow.
You know, he's got a very smooth delivery, and when you're facing a guy that's really smooth like that, it's almost harder to even pick up the ball. And then the ball gets on you quickly, and it moves. He's got some little late breaking action on his pitches. That one, he cut that last one in hard on Billy, and there's a big breaking ball.
The Royals saw Quintana 3 times last year in his rookie season with the White Sox. He went 6-6 for Chicago and 0-1 against the Royals with a 4.26 ERA. Still 2-2. Quintana is from Colombia. You don't hear about many baseball players from Colombia. That is a soccer crazy nation. But the Colombians that do make it to the big leagues, if you look at where they're from, they are not far from the Venezuelan border. So that's where that sport has spilled over from Venezuela into Colombia. And Quintana faces just 3 Royals in the first inning. That's his first strikeout. At the end of 1, no score. Royals homestand against the Indians, the Rays, and now the White Sox. And there have been plenty of highlights over that stretch. A 10th come from behind win. In fact, both wins come from behind. Then there was the game that was postponed because of the rain on Thursday, and then Jeremy Guthrie, after Friday's game was postponed, putting together his first major league shutout.
How about Irvin Santana had 7 strikeouts in that game that got lost. That's the real negative, but the positive was that Guthrie threw his first career shutout and got his team, going. They're continuing to win now.
There's still some mumbling and grumbling about what happened on Thursday. The Royals were just 6 outs away from winning that game. Frank Coeur coming up in right field, and Paul Konerko is out number 1. By the way, coming up in the bottom of the second inning, Jeremy Guthrie has agreed to join us. You got to be prepared with Jeremy Guthrie, as we learned in the spring training game when Joel was in the dugout with him. He's happy to answer questions, but I think we might want to be prepared if he wants to turn the tables on us.
Nah, you know what? Just leave the HUD interpretations or whatever he's doing. Don't bring those in. Don't get him started, Ryan. But he's an analytical guy and fun. Look forward to the interview.
You think we're going to have Jeremy Guthrie on in the middle of the game, and I'm not going to allow him to do a HUD impersonation?
Oh, that's dangerous. How about a jam sandwich for breakfast? Because that's what young rookie Connor Gillespie just had. Davis, you got to like this. This is what's going to help him be successful. Staying on both sides. Down. Finish some guys up with a hard fastball up, too. And he likes to pitch inside, knocking guys off the plate. At 6'5", 225 pounds, he's a force. He'll reach 95.
First time that Gillespie has faced him. And a curveball is hit on the ground to Tejada. So Davis has that pitch working in the early going. A couple of strikeouts with the curve, and now a routine ground ball to second base. And now 2 down to Alexei Ramirez. He was 0 for 3 and lost a 5-game hitting streak last night. And the White Sox, they probably know that Davis has been throwing a lot of pitches this year, and they're going to do whatever they can to force him to throw pitches, have some longer outs. It's been a good start for Davis so far in that department. I don't think Ramirez wants to bunt. He's just making Davis throw a strike.
Jeff Manto on the right, hitting coach for Robin Ventura, who's on the left. And when you're in a hitters only meeting that you have before series, or even that day before the game, hitting coach brings up the right-handers are hitting .347 with 2 homers. Lefties are hitting .389 with 2 homers against Davis. Overall, fellas, he's given up a .369 average. Be looking to swing the bat on him. I don't think anybody's out there saying, White Sox are saying, we're going to take.
Shallow center. Kane got a good jump, and he makes the play. 2 scoreless innings for Wade Davis. We'll visit with Jeremy Guthrie when we get to the bottom of the second. No score at Kauffman Stadium. And Wade Davis for the Royals, 2 scoreless innings. Jose Quintana, 1 scoreless inning for Chicago. Last night, we all enjoyed watching Jeremy Guthrie throw his first major league shutout, and he's kind enough to join us from the Royals dugout on the first base side. And first of all, congratulations, Jeremy. And when the game was over and you were driving home and you were going over everything that worked for you last night, or everything that you enjoyed last night, what stands out a day later?
Probably the crowd, being out there and having a nice ovation, and just the fans were into it the whole time. So that was probably the most fun part.
Jeremy, what a lot of us like to watch is the way you take the mound. You hustle out to the mound, you run off the field. After you made the out, they made the out on you last night of the game. You pointed around to your fielders and were giving them extra love. How about the humility, and why are you so humble?
Well, I think the longer you play, you realize that it takes an awful lot of people, not just the pitcher, to have games like that. And Salvi was great all day, and defensively, I can't say enough about the plays that Moose and Alcides and Haas made in the infield throughout. So, those type of games just aren't possible without those plays that save you a bunch of pitches and that
Is it raining?
Save runs and hits and everything else. Yeah, it is. It's snowing here still.
Yeah, and by the way, you can tell Kataris that we don't just have a tight shot on you. We're watching him. We got a second camera angle on him. So if this ends up in a court, he's busted. We got the videotape.
I'll let him know.
Jeremy, you've moved your family out here. How you guys enjoying Kansas City so far?
That's great. Kids are enjoying it and adapting well, and making some new friends already. I got a question for you, Hud.
Okay.
Who's going to drive the bus today? Who's going to drive the bus?
I'm going with Low Kane. Low Kane to win right here. He might even get him in this at bat.
That's an easy guess.
He's been driving the bus, man. Look at it. He's hitting 389 off of lefties.
A lot of people try to sneak a piece of cheese by a hungry rat here with Low Keezy, huh? And a hot, hungry rat.
Jeremy, you shocked the house at the K yesterday. Your first career shutout. And the people were loving on you, man. They were giving you all kinds of accolades, man. Now you're a Twitter guy. Did you blow up last night or today with your twittering?
There's always a lot of support. You pitch good, you have a lot of support. You pitch bad, you got a lot of people that hate you. So you take it even. Stay as even as you can, and hopefully they don't hate you as much as they say, and hopefully you're not as good as they say you are. So it's just a fun way to interact with the fans.
Hey, when you were warming up in the bullpen before the shutout last night, were you ever thinking to yourself, call the cops, I'm going to throw a shutout?
No, I didn't think that. Just hopefully trying to go out there and keep some low pitch counts instead of building them up early like I have been the last couple of starts. And they were aggressive out there, which was helpful in terms of having some quicker innings. In
all seriousness, Jeremy, I mean, how much does a good warm-up session in the bullpen transfer over to the game? In other words, how often do you know, okay, I think I'm going to have a good game tonight based on warming up?
I like to have a good warm-up. A lot of pitchers, it doesn't affect them, and I'd say for the most part, when I have had bad ones, I've also pitched very good games and pitched bad games after a good one. But if I could choose, I would like to have a good one where everything feels nice and calm, and I'm able to execute the pitches and hopefully carry that out onto the field.
Jeremy, what does Wade Davis need to do? We've been talking about it up here today to get those opponent average at 369. How's he going to bring that down?
Oh, he's a competitor. So first and foremost, he's out there trying so hard that it doesn't always work out. But he's just like all of us, wants to go out there and pitch well. And I have a ton of confidence in him. I was very impressed. I didn't know a whole bunch about him before he came over here, but his stuff, his breaking ball, his two seam, his changeup and cutter, I'll put those up against anybody. And so it's just a matter of time before he really gets into one of these grooves here. Like he was at the start, and he's going to be just fine. I don't think he's too worried about bringing that average down. I think that will just happen as he goes out and pitches his game.
Okay, Jeremy, Dave Island created a little bit different angles with your hip turn, And it seems to me like you're getting a lot more movement on your two-seamer, and you're showing different angles. Is there anything that Davis can do for that?
Oh, I think he already works on that. He's got good dart on the two-seam and moves it back and forth, and he's got the cutter that I don't throw. So, he's going to beat us fine, and I think he's going to go out there and hopefully finish out this game strong.
Jeremy, thank you. We're all breathing easier up here. We're expecting you to grill us up here in the booth. But we're going to give you a chance to what we call Rexclamate as we go to break.
Rex?
No score, top of the third inning. Hector Jimenez, Dwayne Wise, and Alejandro De Aza coming up for the White Sox, who have been held scoreless in 11 innings in this series. Wade Davis pitched around a one-out single and a scoreless first, and then got the White Sox in order in the second. One ball, two strikes. Tyler Flowers was behind the plate last night for the White Sox and was 1 for 3. Still 1-2. Jimenez drafted out of Venezuela at the age of 16, and now here he is, 30 years old, and this is his first legitimate shot to spend a full season in the big leagues.
Congratulations for him to continue to persevere and not quit. You know how easy it is to take it to the house and go home when you get discouraged. Good for him.
14th professional season. And before this year, he'd only appeared in 9 major league games. Good fastball up and away, and Wade Davis has struck out 3. And now Dwayne Wise, who was 0 for 3 last night, and he's been getting more playing time with the injury to Diane Viciedo, the White Sox regular left fielder. Alejandro De Aza has shifted over to left, and Dwayne Wise, a good defensive outfielder, has been playing in center. Slaps that past Moustakas, and Gordon on it in a hurry, and Wise has to hit the brakes as he is held to a single.
He made a wise decision not to go to second. Gordy would have had him. But see, that's why you bluff a bunt. You fake a bunt, you pull the corners in, and you slap it by him. Good example right there. Moose was in on the grass thinking that Wise was going to bunt on him. After the previous pitch, he showed bunt. That's exactly how you do it. He waited till the ball got right on him, and then he just flicked it right by him. And Gordy was waiting.
Diaz opened the game with a strikeout. Davis got him with a curve.
So, technically speaking, all of Dwayne Wise's decisions are always wise, aren't they?
Been around a long time. I remember when he was a Rule 5 player with the Toronto Blue Jays. Two balls and no strikes. And I remember Jim Fregosi was the manager of the Blue Jays at that time, and talking about building on that baseball wisdom for him, which he has now. Of course, that's his name, which you were alluding to. And he's been around a while, but Rule of 5s don't get a whole lot of playing time. And Dwayne Wise got very little, but every day he'd come out early, and a different coach would work with him on a facet of the game. Base running one day, hitting one day, defense one day, situational hitting one day, just to keep his. You could keep his body fresh just by taking batting practice every day, but by keeping his mind fresh with very little playing time.
Yeah, that's good. That's what you need to do with a young guy. Especially in the minors, they develop more. They spend more time out on the field early.
2-2 on Diaza.
I had a manager in A-ball who was so upset the way we were playing, we had to show up at the ballpark at 10 o'clock the next morning for a 7 o'clock game. And we had to carry our gloves and our bats over our heads and run to the center field wall and back to home plate and back again. It was kind of like an Army drill.
So I'm guessing whatever you did wrong to deserve that, you guys probably didn't do it again.
No. We paid a lot more attention to detail. That was the problem. We weren't paying attention. So he got our attention. That's professional baseball. It's not college baseball. So guys usually are sleeping at 10 o'clock in the morning. It woke them up.
That breaking ball has been very good for Davis, keeping it down and in a spot where the White Sox can't do anything with it other than foul it away as Diaza did.
Yeah, you can tell by the way they're hacking, they're off balance. So usually weak ground balls come with swings like that if they do make contact in fair territory. Wise does have one stolen base on the year.
Just missed. Perez tried to pull it in the strike zone. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
All right, where's Foxtrax say it is? It's a high strike.
So now we'll see if Dwayne Wise takes off. Diaza, a leadoff hitter, is among the league leaders in strikeouts. And he struck out for the 35th time in the first inning. So he has some power. 5 home runs for a leadoff man in the first month and a few days into the season. But with that bigger swing, he has paid the price with 35 strikeouts.
Sometimes a manager won't run the guy at first base if the hitter's a high strikeout guy. Especially with Salvador, the strike him out, throw him out is a possibility.
Wise runs. Diaza takes ball 4. So the White Sox have 2 on with 1 out. That is Wade Davis's first walk. Major League Baseball and People Magazine are looking for veterans in our community. 30 veterans, 1 to represent each major league team, will be recognized at the 2013 All-Star Game. That's July 16th on Fox. To nominate, go to tributeforheroes.com. So 2 on for Keppinger, who's feeling a lot better after his single in the first inning. He was batting 186 and just 1 for his last 13 going into that at bat. And now Francoeur sprinting into foul territory, and the tarp was fastly approaching, and the ball lands in between Francoeur and the tarp. And it's a good thing Francoeur didn't go crashing into it, because every time I've seen a player collide with the tarp wins. Every time.
No. He gave it a great effort to get to it. Sometimes you have the option to slide on your feet and make a catch, but you definitely aren't going to want to leave your feet. I mean, go head first.
There's the breaking ball again. No balls and 2 strikes.
Hey, Keppinger is a contact hitter. He doesn't strike out very often, so you can keep the ball down on him, maybe roll a pair here.
Wise is at second base. Diaz is at first. Now Perez and Davis are going to talk over the next pitch. Taking a look at the radar gun so far. Quintana has been up to 93. Davis 92 so far in our Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet Pitch Speed Comparison. One and 2.
Keppinger hitting 188 with a runner in scoring position. Told you about the overall numbers, although White Sox are down 196 as a team. Haven't been getting clutch hits.
Still 1 and 2. And they had very few opportunities last night against Guthrie. 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. They had 2 runners in scoring position all night against Jeremy Guthrie. And this is their first runner to second base today. Wise at second base. Lays off a close pitch. 2 and 2.
So Davis has given Wise a couple different looks at second base. Okay, that's a nice low pitch. Perfect ball to roll a pair on. But he's given Wise, the base runner, a couple different looks, because Wise looks like he's trying to measure him up, like to steal a base.
Up the middle, and Tejada backhands, rolls over Escobar. Kept the ball out of the outfield, so Wise stops at third, and the bases are loaded.
Pretty good takeout by Escobar. And I'm glad he's getting up. Everything's okay. Tejada gloved it, saved a run there. That ball left the bat, looked like it was going up the middle. So when both guys slide at once, you don't see very often. Escobar just kind of got in his way, but that's a nice stop. Wise would have scored. How many times did you see that?
That's the first time today.
You don't see that very often. Guys were colliding out there in the middle.
So now they're loaded up for Rios. And Hud told you when he struck out in the first inning, he is 0 for 14 against Wade Davis. Moustakas dives, runs to third, throws to first, and no double play, and a run will score.
All right, that's the second saved run with a nice defensive play. You catch the ball and make outs, you win games. You're not letting any runs score. However, that one run did cross the plate, but a lot more would have had he not gloved it. Moose measures it up perfectly. Okay, now you got to get to your feet.
So it's a fielder's choice, 5 unassisted, and Rios gets an RBI. Ball 1 to Adam Dunn. And that's just the second RBI for the combination of Rios, Dunn, and Konerko against the Royals this year. 1 ball, 1 strike on Dunn, and he lost a base hit in the first inning. Hit the ball right on the nose up the first base line, and Eric Hosmer was able to get his glove on it, keep it from getting to the outfield, and then got it to Davis for the out. So there have been 3 plays today where an infielder on a hot smash has kept the ball on the infield. Moustakis running over to the White Sox on deck area and made the play. Perez didn't see it, and Moustakis didn't take it for granted. Wow.
I was going to say, if this ball comes down, it's an out. But then Moose out of nowhere. Wow, that's outstanding.
This is Joe Mendoza, and after moving to the Kansas City area in '09, Joe started the retail lending division at Arvest Bank. Due to his upbringing, Joe has always been involved in helping the Hispanic community, and does so by serving on the board of Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the board of the Arts Council of Johnson County, while also acting as the treasurer of the Guadalupe Center Board. And he is feeding a very young Royals fan today on this Cinco de Mayo celebration at the ballpark. And it's also Dressed to the Nines Day. Your thoughts?
Even though it's Joel Goldberg's birthday, I didn't think it was Dressed Like Joel Day. Goldie has some outfits like that. You normally don't see him at the ballpark, but he has some in his closet, I was told.
Pulled foul by Francoeur, who came dangerously close to colliding with the tarp in the top of the 3rd inning.
And he decided, you know what? I think it was a good decision now looking at that angle that he didn't even slide to catch that.
Now, who's this? Head first into the wall in St. Louis. 2-2 on Francoeur.
Well,
Who is that?
There's a lot of people saying, oh, that's the reason. Because I could have easily been paralyzed on that. I mean, you know what? That was before they had padding out there. So as blood started trickling down my face, John Franco says, "Hud, stay down, you're bleeding."
That's a foul ball by a couple of feet.
Joe Torre comes out to take me out of the game. I said, "Skip, it's early in the game. I got 2 hits off Frank Viola. You can't take me out." He goes, "Hud, your head's bleeding. You got to come out of the game." So I couldn't put the brakes on. And I got 10 stitches as a souvenir after that.
Yeah,
but I remember it stung. Okay, I threw my hat off. I remember how that stung. Man, it felt like I landed in a den of wasps because there was this stinging sensation in my head. I don't know why I flipped my cap off, but man, it hurt. But I had to show him the ball, though. Can't believe you guys drug that up.
Another foul ball, still 3-2 on Francoeur.
You know, I appreciate Sammy Abramson pulling up that footage right there. Sammy, thanks, man. It brings me back a little bit, and it lets these people know, these fans here, why I am like I am. After a few head dings in your career, sometimes you lose a few. Oh.
Fastball at 92. And strikeout number 3 for Quintana. He's retired the first 7 Royals today. Coming up on Saturday, June 15th, it is alumni batting practice, and that's available to anyone 25 years or older. You'll join Royals alumni on the field from 8 a.m. until noon for only $300. That comes with breakfast, a T-shirt, shorts, and an autographed baseball by the pros who will participate. 816-504-4150 to sign up. Ball 1 to Salvador Perez, who had a 2-hit game last night, now batting at .287. Hit one of his home runs last year against Jose Quintana. And a breaking ball in for a strike, 1-2.
Okay. Very comfortable position Salvi's in right now. You watch him, he'll coil up a little as he gears up to get something going forward and try to drop one in.
Wise makes a play in center field. 2 down in the 3rd.
Okay, watch Salvi. See how he goes back to go forward? That's called loading. The hitters are going to load up a little bit. Okay, he's comfortable, but he's moving back. Everything's going back to come forward. And that gives you a little bit more. Now, he got fooled there and was able to stay down through the ball. That's the reason he got underneath it, but has a good path to the ball on a low pitch. Again, another bad ball, but he hits bad balls all the time.
Tejada behind on the fastball, 0-1. Batting at .231 with a couple of RBIs. Chris Getz 1 for 4 in last night's game. 0-2.
Dayton Moore deserves a lot of credit for what's going on here. Okay, not only the starting pitching, and that's been a big theme, and because that's one of the big differences, but going out and addressing the needs that this team needed last season, was some veteran leadership. And Miguel Tejada, some might say, well, that's a gamble. He didn't even play last year. Well, Dayton watched him. He had his people watching him, and he looked good. He had a good winter ball, and you could tell in the WBC this year, as I was watching him, he's still got plenty of game left. He's a good athlete. He's very fluid. He moves well, fluid with his agility, going left, right, and coming in. And he's added a big difference in that clubhouse.
9 up, 9 down for the Royals against Quintana. And at the end of 3, the White Sox lead the Royals 1-0. 1-0 White Sox to the top of the 4th inning. And Paul Konerko takes ball 1 from Wade Davis. White Sox getting a run on a fielder's choice in the 3rd from Alex Rios, and that is their first run of the series after being held scoreless over the first 11 innings. Left center field. And Alex makes the play. Konerko is 0 for 2. Well, you can kick off your weekend the right way by taking in Royals baseball with the George Brett Friday 5-pack. 5 select Friday home games, including the Yankees, the Nationals, the Rangers, and more, starting at just $55. And you can get your Brett Friday 5-pack today at Royals.com or by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS. Ball 1 to Connor Gillespie. He grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning. Told you last night, Gillespie, born and raised in Omaha. He went to Millard High School, and his high school team went 35-0 when he was a senior, winning the Nebraska State Championship, and then played his college ball at Wichita State.
Just got to have a pass list today.
Two 2-0. Former prospect in the Giants organization, never really got a great shot to play for them. Picked up by the White Sox as a utility infielder, and then the injury to Gordon Beckham opened up an everyday spot for him, at least for now, and he's taken advantage, hitting over 300.
Well, that's what you do when you're a guy like that. You don't quit. You keep working hard, and if it doesn't work out one place, you don't quit. You keep persevering, and you know you're going to get a chance if you believe in your ability. And so you wait your turn. Injury happens, bam, now it's my turn. Beckham's out. You hate to get a chance when at the expense of somebody's injury, but that's what you're waiting for. Now it's my turn. And you tell yourself that. And when you get out here, you do the best you can to slow the game down and not speed it up. You're all excited. To hit a baseball, you have to be calm, and you have to be able to slow it down the best you can. And he's done that. He's a rookie, and he's getting his shot, and he's making the best of it.
And he will walk with 1 out. And that's Davis's 2nd walk. A reminder, as you enjoy cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. And Miller Time was all about Jeremy Guthrie last night with his 4-hit shutout. And his ERA against the White Sox in his last 6 starts is 0.40. I tell you what, you know you're good against one team when you throw a shutout and your ERA against them goes down 1/10 of a point.
That's right.
It was 0.5. Now this is just as a Royal. 0.5 as a Royal against Chicago. He throws a shutout and it goes down to 0.4. Those are his last 3. 2 earned runs in 23 innings. Wait a minute. 21 innings. 2 earned runs in 21 innings.
It's fabulous work. These are big league hitters. He's making it sound like the wiffle ball league.
1-1 on Alexei Ramirez, who flied to center first time up. Gillespie runs, and Ramirez hits it in the air. So he didn't get it on the ground if the White Sox were going for a hit and run. Francoeur makes the catch, and Gillespie is back to first.
Yeah, that's what Robin Ventura was telling me yesterday. He says, you know, we need to generate some way to score runs if we're not hitting them out of the park. So he tried to hit and run there. He ran wise earlier too on a little hit and run. Didn't work. But you got to hit the ball on the ground. You can't advance the runners.
Jimenez struck out swinging at a fastball in the third inning. Davis has struck out 3 and walked 2. Down and away for ball 1. Jimenez is just 2 out of 16 this year. And for a guy that's been around as long as he has and is a good defensive catcher, you might ask, well, why hasn't he gotten more opportunities in the big leagues? Well, mostly because of his bat. And there's a fly ball to Kane, or a lack of bat, if you will. And Jimenez is 0 for 2. The White Sox strand 1 in the 4th.
Jose Quintana, Joel Goldberg back at Kauffman Stadium, and really it's still a name that we're getting used to, Quintana, because prior to last year he was an A-ball, and now suddenly the kid from Colombia has been a big part of the White Sox rotation. Talking to former Royal and now third base coach of the White Sox, Joe McEwing, he said that this kid, he's not scared of anything at all. He said he is extremely comfortable, composed, competes, and he said it's interesting. The game that really opened my eyes, he said, his best outing was last year at Yankee Stadium, and I looked it up, June 29th, and he gave up 6 runs in that game, 4 in the first. Jeter double and Granderson homer to welcome him in the big stage of Yankee Stadium, but he said that the kid just competed and he kept on going after a rough 4-run first inning, and he's been very good for them since. A real big find. Ryan, oh, by the way, HUD 55, I'm 55?
No, I was just messing with you.
I know you
I
were.
only followed Ryan. Ryan started it.
No, I know. See, now what I said, and thank you to my wife for digging that up.
That's a heck of a stance you got going
well,
there.
no, what I said on the...
Are you swinging on something there, or are you holding a bat?
What I said on the pregame was it was pretty clear at 13 that I had no future in baseball unless it was going to be on TV.
Joel, actually, I thought that was a young picture of Eric Hosmer, so you're all right, man.
Hosmer was bigger.
And he never held a bat like
and
that.
He never held a bat like that. The only thing we had in common was left-handed.
Bangs?
The bangs. Left-handed first baseman.
You guys are beautiful.
At least I knew then. I was a pretty good wiffle ball player, though.
Happy birthday, Joel.
Anyway,
Way to
thanks.
Go, man.
And I know I heard you before saying, "Oh, you think Joel's mad at me for saying 55?" No. And Ryan, what did you say? Happy 47th?
47.
If I'm 47, that means you're 48.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that.
So
I kind of walked into that one.
Also, Hud, while we're at it, when have you seen me wear bow ties?
It's your day,
Just
Joel.
pick on-
Any way to give you some love.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Shock the house.
Alex grounds the second, and now Quintana's retired the first 10 Royals today. The Unlimited Answer Sweepstakes is presented by Sprint. Here's our question today. Biggest key so far for the Royals, starting pitching or clutch hitting? Vote in today's answers poll, and you can enter for a chance to win 2 Crown Club tickets to a future Royals game courtesy of Sprint. Now, it's easy to say starting pitching. At the same time, though, as Escobar jolts it to deep left field and caught at the screen by De Aza. And when a ball is hit like that and doesn't go over the fence, I immediately go to the flags in right field. And that wind is blowing in from left. That was hit into the wind.
Yeah, and on contact, Escobar, he thought he got enough of that to get it over the fence. Wise knew where he was.
I did too. You think that ball was gone?
I thought it was out, yeah. But you know that you got the elements of the game will determine that, and that's the heavy wind. At least it's not as cold.
0-1 on Billy. He struck out in the first inning. One and one. So anyway, just to finish the thought, the easy answer is that the starting pitching has been the key, and I would agree with that. However, you have to score some runs in order to win a game, and while the Royals haven't been piling up the runs, they have been clutch, and in many games have been scoring their runs with 2 outs, 2 strikes, and later in the game.
Which is evident by that .321 batting average with runners in scoring position. They're getting the clutch hits when they need them.
Outside, 3 balls and 1 strike.
Kid is really dealing. He's emotionless out there. And he's got a pretty quick tempo. He's going to lose a batter there, but he's doing a fine job of mixing his pitches. He's sneaky quick.
And so he was perfect for 3 2/3 innings. And now we'll have to pitch out of the stretch for the first time, as Billy walks for the 19th time already this year. And now Quintana and Eric Hosmer. Hosmer grounded back to Quintana in the second inning.
You mentioned earlier .313 average from Hosmer. That's really good off of southpaws, but he's still missing that homer. He's got to erase that goose egg.
Pretty good swing, fouled it back. When you were a hitter, and Hosmer several times this year has fouled a ball straight back, so he's just missing. So as a hitter, what does that tell you when you're having a good swing but you're not making solid contact?
Steady right there. Stay right there. That's the one I want. We'll get it next time. That's right on it.
And hit well to left field, and Wise is there to make the play. Tough hitting luck for Hosmer. The Royals get their first base runner. And at the end of 4, the White Sox lead 1-0. Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. And by Steel, available exclusively at a servicing Steel dealer. Visit steeldealers.com. And by Ford, see the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. And we welcome in Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. And let's begin with Wade Davis. Monty, what progress are you seeing today?
Well, one thing I think he's done a nice job, Brian, is making the adjustment, going back downhill. And I think a lot of that is attributed to the fact he's throwing his breaking ball more. I think when you get on top of that breaking ball, that gives you a chance to be going downhill. And it doesn't matter what pitch you're throwing, that downhill plane is very important because you want the hitters hitting the top half of the baseball.
And a shot right over Davis's head from Dwayne Wise, who is 2 for 2. And the White Sox, for the first time in the series, have the leadoff man on. Here's today's Monty's moment.
Well, we're going to go back to Wade Davis's first start in Philadelphia. We see fastballs up, kind of thigh high, belt high, and see the hitters doing a nice job and really punishing him. Today we see the breaking ball, which again, it gets that downhill plane, and he's able to finish off hitters. And I think that keeps everything on the bottom part of the strike zone for him.
Alejandro De Aza has walked and struck out against Davis. Runner going, and the pitch is fouled at the plate. So again, Robin Ventura starting the runner again.
Trying to get something happening now. He fouled a ball off of the top of his right foot last night. He's got a pad on there, but the instep of the shoe is not padded, so he goes back to work on his foot again.
Turning baseball into a contact sport.
Yeah, I mean, not advisable. And we talked about last night about today. He probably would have some kind of guard on there, and he does. He's got a little foot guard. But a lot of runners, guys that are speedy, don't like to have that shin guard on them while they're running. Last night he had to really take some time to walk this one off Guthrie. Okay, his little breaking ball down. I mean, just nailed his foot.
And that skips past Hosmer, and that'll move Wise up to second base. Third base coach Joe McEwing went up the line to give Wise the right angle. It's always fun to watch a third base coach. They're hardly ever in the box. It's kind of a waste of paint to even just put those down, but how much they move around, HUD, based on where the runner is going.
Yeah, and that's important, and especially having played like McEwen and was a base runner, he understands that hitters have a better angle. I mean, base runners, when they're getting towards second base, to look up and they see him towards left field. That's a better viewing spot.
So it's an error on Davis. And now 1-1 on De Aza.
So De Aza wants to keep his manager happy. He's going to try to pull that ball to the right side, get him over some way, somehow.
Two and one.
So Davis and Salvi are trying to throw him on the outer half of the plate, just so he makes it harder for him to try to get the runner over.
Rich, talk about that situational pitching. It's still in the 5th inning of the game. It was 1 run, and it looks like Quintana's going to be very stingy and selfish with the runs he's going to give up today. You got to almost pitch like it's late in the game. Try to prevent that runner from getting to third with less than 2 outs.
And that pitch is inside, 3-1. Monty, what did you try and do? Because if there was a runner at second base with nobody out against you, they were going to try and manufacture that run because it was late in the game. So how would you pitch a left-hand batter when you know that's what he's trying to do?
Well, I always look at the scoreboard, and the scoreboard normally dictates what I have to do. In a 1-run game, I cannot allow this runner to get to third base, so I may pitch a little differently. Now, if it's a 3-run lead, I don't really care about the runner at second base, so I'm just going to approach him and attack the batter.
3 balls, 2 strikes.
And as a hitter, you can tell what the pitcher's trying to do according to what Monty said the situation. And there were times when I would come up there and they would keep pounding me in because they know I'm trying to hit the ball to the opposite field. And I would say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull you. If you're going to keep coming in there, I'm going to just turn it up. I can get him over and in with a pitch I can drive to. I'm going to pull it. Sometimes you'll just say, all right, if you're going to pitch that way, I'm going to hit that way. That was one he could handle. He tried to. But another thing that I noticed in Wade Davis' last few starts is that he really needs to pick up his tempo. His tempo is dragging. His fielders are getting too much time out there to kind of wander around a little bit mentally. And it's important pitchers understand the defense behind him. It helps them when you get the sign and throw it.
And these White Sox hitters have done a nice job in fouling off some very quality pitches, and he's made some good pitches here, but you just keep making him work. And you're right, Rex, that's just the tempo and the flow. As a pitcher, you have to recognize that we need to make this play, and oftentimes speeding the game up and just getting the ball in play does as much good as anything.
74th pitch coming.
Another foul ball. He's fouled out 3 in a row. Do you think for the most part when a pitcher's tempo slows down, he realizes it? Or do you think he needs the catcher or the pitching coach or the manager to go out and give him a little reminder?
I don't think most of the time I didn't realize it. It would be something they would say between innings that, gosh, you're really slow out there. You hear somebody talking about it. Why'd you slow the thing down? And it really is an unintentional effort because you want to speed things up.
And another foul ball.
But it is frustrating as a pitcher when you execute some quality pitches and a batter like Diaza here just keeps battling and fouling off some good pitches and extends the at bat, runs your pitch count up. So a lot of bad things happen for a pitcher when you have to face a batter in this deep of a count.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Salvi says, hey, look, take your chances. Let's throw him a knee-high fastball right over the middle of the plate. See, he's going to hit it at somebody.
And just like last night, Royals have played good defense behind Davis today. Struck him out. Here you go, Hud. Let's go back to the basics, huh?
That's right.
4th strikeout for Davis, and now Wise is at second with 1 out.
Guys, one of the hitters that I always talk about was Wade Boggs, how you could throw Wade Boggs pitch after pitch after pitch on the corners because he's so used to being pitched so tough. He had that ability to flip those pitches foul. Next thing you know, you're 10 pitches deep into the at bat. And I liked Rex's approach. I'm going to give him something in the middle part of the plate. He's either going to get a base hit or he's going to make an out early in the count.
Save my pitch count some.
And now Keppinger, and he's 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. And it's 0-1. I had someone tell me years ago, and I don't know if this was over-exaggerating, but very similar. Someone who had the chance to pitch to Pete Rose several times in his career, and he said he would try and throw him a knee-high fastball right down the middle early in the count because of the same reason. If it was in, he'd pull it. If it was away, he'd go the other way. He'd foul off tough pitches. But because he was such a good hitter, he wasn't used to getting one right down the middle on the first pitch. And of course, 3 out of 10 times you're going to get a base hit on average.
That's the same thing with a bat ball hitter. You're better off just taking your chances and throwing right down the middle.
And Keppinger just got a piece of it, and it's still 0-2. Speaking of Pete Rose, and I had no idea we were going to mix this in there, but I guess maybe it was in the air. 1978. Base hit number 3,000 for Pete Rose against Steve Rogers, and he would go on to collect 1,256 more hits.
Charlie Hustle, my favorite player growing up.
Mine too, Monty. Even out in Fresno, California, when that big red machine was on, man, it was fun to watch it.
On the ground to Moustakas. He will send Wise back to second and throw out Keppinger. 2 down.
Okay, that's pitching to contact right there. Not afraid. He's kept the ball down, hoping he hits it at somebody. He did. Now with 2 outs, he can try to take care of Rios like he has the previous 15 times now. Although Rios got the only RBI in his last at bat of the day.
Really nice to see Mike Moustakas picking his defense back up to that level. He had a little bit of a lapse there a week or so back, and now he's back to being Mike Moustakas' third base.
Ball 1 to Rios.
What is he now against Wade Davis, Rios?
0 for 15.
Okay.
But as you said, he drove in the only run back in the 3rd inning. One ball, 1 strike. Saw a number the other day, and in the age of the advanced numbers, the advanced metrics, as they say, Rios had 91 RBIs last season. 51% of those considered high leverage RBIs, meaning that the runs that he drove in had something to do with the outcome of the game. 2 balls, 1 strike. That was the 2nd best in the major leagues. Percentage of high leverage RBIs. Kyle Seager of the Seattle Mariners had the most, 53% of his RBIs high leverage. And I bring that up because the fielder's choice for Rios that has driven in the only run today would be considered a high leverage statistic, as it put his team in the lead. I mean, you get 90, 100 RBIs and above, that's a good season no matter how you look at it. But there are some players who put up so-called good numbers, big home run numbers, big RBI numbers, but then you think back on their season, you go, well, I can't think of a whole lot of big hits. And then some guys don't have the so-called great numbers, but he's the guy you want up there when the game's on the line. 3-2. Dwayne Wise opened the inning with a single, then Wade Davis trying to pick him off, threw it away for an error. So Wise has been at second since nobody were out, and now 2 down. And Davis is 1 strike away from getting out of this inning.
We're making him work for it, although he's taking his time. Next pitch comes the 23rd of this inning.
He thought about it and takes ball 4. And now Ned Yost and Dave Island chat in the Royals dugout as Wade Davis is now approaching 90 pitches. And will pitch to Adam Dunn, who's been the victim of 2 very good defensive plays already today. Lost a base hit on a nice play by Hosmer in the 1st. And then Mike Moustakas caught a pop-up almost directly behind home plate in the 3rd. 0-1 on Dunn. And Salvador Perez didn't see the pop-up right away, and Moustakas came sprinting down from 3rd, past Paul Konerko, who's in the on-deck area, and made the play on the track.
You know, that's great awareness from Moose on that. You don't see third baseman making plays behind the plate like that. You know, even though the ball had a lot of hang time on it, Moose took 1 look at Salvi, and Salvi said, I don't see it, and it was on. And Moose just dead sprint for 90+ feet, caught it on the run, on the dead run. Not easy.
Hit hard but foul.
The Moose was loose on this one, I like to say. There it was. Okay, Salvi, where is it? I don't know. Moose says, I got it. I'm tracking it. He's on the loose. Yeah, no way, Moose.
Why do I get the feeling he's made that play 100 times in his backyard as a kid? 2 balls, 2 strikes. And there are some guys who are good at the game. There are some guys who are good at the game because you can tell. I mean, they're just a big kid out there. They just love the game. And Moustakas really gives off that feel, doesn't he?
He's a baseball player.
He loves playing third base.
Dunn strikes out looking. So it was a long inning, a base hit, an error, and a walk. But it was a scoreless inning for Wade Davis. He has struck out 5. Big game last night for the Tigers in Houston. 17-2 win, and a big night for Miguel Cabrera. He went 4 for 4, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. He leads the league with 36 RBIs. And he leads the league with a .390 batting average after winning the Triple Crown last year. Royals in the 4th inning got their first runner against Jose Quintana. That was a 2-out walk, and as they bat in the 5th, still looking for their first hit. It'll be Lorenzo Cain, Mike Moustakas, and Jeff Francoeur. 2 balls and no strikes. Monty, what's impressed you the most about Quintana so far today?
Right, he really makes it look easy with the stuff. He doesn't have overpowering or dominant stuff, but he mixes things in so effectively. He works both sides of the plate, and he pitches a contact. So very efficient with his pitches, just like this youngster's approach.
I like his too. His makeup. Now, hitters got to somehow find a way to see him up in the zone. He's executing down. They can't miss the mistake when they see one. Very good composure.
This will be just his 60th pitch. And Cain hits it to left center into that crosswind, and Wise taking what is referred to as a banana route to the ball, but makes the play on the warning track. He went over before he went back, so he had to make an awkward adjustment, but was able to make the play. Yep. They still call it the banana route?
Yes, since you said it, yeah, they do. Because look, however, that's not exactly the route you want to take, but just get the job done. It's not pretty.
So if I didn't say it, they wouldn't be referred to as the banana route?
No. Ryan,
it's a route shaped like a banana.
I have a ton of respect for you and your commentary, and I'm
Monty,
with everything.
I've heard of the banana route before.
Okay, thank you. because Hud was really trying to lather it on there. Just, you know,
I'm not
you can be straight with me.
I'm not 100% sure they still call it that, Ryan, but at one point they did.
Thank you.
He really took more of a pitcher's route in batting practice.
I think that was the route I took when I cracked my head open on the wall down the left field line.
There's the first base hit. There have been some hard hit balls, but that's the first hit. And Mike Moustakas is 1 for 2. And now he is 5 out of 11 in his career against Quintana. And that includes a couple of home runs.
Okay, there's the one. See him up. Right down the middle. There's a mistake, and he got it. If he doesn't hit that ball right in the middle, he gets underneath that. He might have hooked a homer there because that wind's blowing heavy out there. Not that he would have needed it. But left-handed bats and a few right-handers. And Frenchie, he's been shooting some balls that way. He has a chance to hit a homer to right.
As I commented about Mike Moustakas, how he's improved his defense at third as of late. I talked to him earlier in the week, and I think his hitting has been a big reason for that. He just feels like he understands he's got to take his whole game on a daily basis.
Pulled foul by Francoeur, and as I mentioned, the numbers for Moustakas against Quintana, 5 out of 11 with a couple of home runs. Quintana has had very little success with Jeff Francoeur, even though he struck him out in the third inning. Francoeur is still 5 out of 7 with 3 walks. So he's faced him 10 times, Quintana has, and he's only got him out twice. And that's hit well to left field. Back goes De Aza, and it's off the screen. Moustakas to third. He'll be held there. And the Royals have 2 on in scoring position with 1 out.
Okay, Moose breaks up the no-hitter with a clean base hit. And now Frenchie's coming on, and he's saying, okay, I can get him. That's what we call contagious. That's how it happens. Okay, he waits for a pitch, and he drives it. Now the Rangers got to this kid, Quintana, in his last start. He gave up 4 runs on 8 hits in 5 innings. He can't be hit. That ball is driven. And a nice kick off that wall. I thought it may have been enough to score Moose, but second and third, 1 out, chance to get a run home here. Infielders are back, make some contact.
Down and in, ball 1 to Perez, who flied out to center field in the third inning.
Salvi goes so well to the opposite field. He's got to be thinking middle away and drive that ball that way. Catch up some wind, try to score Frenchie. Rios has a good strong throwing arm if it's on the ground. But Frenchie can get a bigger lead at second. There's nobody near him.
They set up inside and miss inside, 2-0.
It's because they know he's so good away. Frenchie needs to get a bigger lead. He's too close to second. There's nobody near him.
Quintana retired the first 11 Royals today, and now 3 of the last 5 have reached. Okay,
this is an excellent at-bat when it comes to being patient. Salvi's saying, look, I don't have to do it. I want to knock those runs in, but if he's not going to give me anything, Miguel Tejada's on deck. I'll let him do it. And that's good. That's a nice trait that these guys have developed, and not swinging in, at bad pitches with runners in scoring position.
Green light right here.
I'm going to give him a green light. Anything out over.
And it's a 4-pitch walk. So Quintana either lost his control, or White Sox decided they were not going to pitch to Salvador Perez, and now they're loaded up.
I'm sure they're thinking with the open base, 1-run game here in the middle part of this game, maybe take a chance on setting up the double play with Miguel Tejada on deck.
Okay, pound this guy in on the hands. Looking at fastballs down. I love Donnie Cooper. I used to read his lips when he pitched against me. That's how I know. Check him out. He's got fastball, curveball. I can see it. And I got hits off him that way. That's before they started covering their mouth with their glove.
So when he was talking to the catcher out on the mound, you could read his lips?
We're going to pound him with fastballs. Yeah, I was checking him out. Now watch how he throws Tejada. He's going to challenge him. He's going to give him something good to hit.
Well, the Royals have gone from no opportunities to score in the first 4 innings to a big opportunity here. And remember, the only out was a nice running play in center field by Wise.
Okay, be ready for that first cookie.
And they are setting up inside. And Tejada hits a soft liner past Ramirez to tie the game.
All right, bases are loaded. He's trying to get that first strike in there. Don't let him in there. And he didn't barrel it, but he got it enough to the right of the shortstop there. He gets knocked in that first run, but he's ready. I like that, being ready. Same situation for Gordon here. Get a guy like this who's been cruising along, you get him in trouble all of a sudden, you got to make it hurt. Get as much as you can get off him here.
And now they're loaded up for Alex. So far 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts, one of them a good play. No balls, 1 strike, and that was in the first inning. Ramirez made a nice play on Alex. So that's big news this year when Alex is 0 for 2 against lefties, because look at what he's done this year. 472 against lefties with 11 RBIs. At the knees for a strike. 0-2.
And Ryan, didn't 4 of those RBIs come in one swing at bat?
Yes, they did. Into the hedges, the second tier of hedges in Detroit.
He likes to shoot the ball to the opposite field against the lefties. He knows that they try to throw a lot of big breaking balls away from him, lefties. He waits on it. He has the ability to wait.
Just got a piece of it. Tried to climb the ladder on him. Still 0-2. Told the story already, but early in the season I asked Alex about his approach against lefties. I said, how is it different? He said, well, in the past I didn't have an approach against lefties. Quintana really wanted him to chase that one. 1-2.
And he has the ability to discipline himself to lay off of those right there.
So the lefty numbers and then the numbers with runners in scoring position. So if this game was played on a computer, sure like Alex Gordon's chances here against Quintana.
Even with 2 strikes.
Broke his bat and it's foul. You think Alex is ever concerned that one of those nature-oriented groups might start picketing out in front of the stadium with the way he treats wood?
Save the trees.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. This guy, you know what? He swings freely and he's not afraid to get jammed. That's a good sign for a hitter. Every hitter's had a jam sandwich along the line, but you can't be afraid of a pitch that's in there because you're going to break your bat. Alex is going to take that swing anyway. If he gets one elevated and he gets jammed, he can flare one over the infielder's head.
And another broken bat. And it kicks off of Keppinger to put the Royals in front.
Okay, ball that's hit like that right in front of you, you really got to concentrate on getting it out here. That's what Quintana needs. He just needs an out. Okay, you either back up and play the long hop or you go pick that. Go up and get the short hop. But he elects to come in and he stopped halfway and he let the ball play him. So you just need one out. He was thinking about maybe getting 2 on that when it wasn't hit, struck that well. Gordon's a good runner. Instead of thinking 1 out, he was thinking 2, and now they got no outs out of the play.
I haven't heard a scoring yet. And it is an RBI for Alex and an error on Keppinger. And now, depending on what the Angels have done today, the White Sox have 21 errors. That's the total the Angels had going in today, and that's the most errors in the American League. Escobar fouls it away. We thought he hit a home run when he came to the plate in the 4th inning. Hit one to the track in left field, and ball may have been knocked down by the wind blowing in from the left field corner.
Jeff Frank Corver's ball that he hit was hit pretty hard too, may have been knocked down.
And that's grounded to the right side. 1 base at a time. And now the Royals have a 3-1 lead as Escobar drives in his 13th of the year.
If you want to know the definition of frenzy hitting, you're seeing it. Okay? They all come in bunches. Talked about how hitting's contagious, and you should explain why. You can feel the pitcher's losing confidence, and the hitters are gaining confidence. And they're saying, all right, we're going to get this guy, even if it is 1 base at a time. That's what they're doing. They're opening up a can of hits. And they're doing it with frenzy style.
Right, it's amazing how many times you see a pitcher have a no-hitter going into the middle part of the game. That first hit, it opens it up.
I mean, he's been pitching out of the windup all day. Nice and comfortable, no base runners to worry about. Royals had 1 runner in the first 4 innings, and now they've had 6 in this inning. And there's no pitching around Billy Butler this time. And the pitch comes in low for ball 1.
All right. Billy did it once earlier this year. He can do it again. He's got to get a pitch he can handle. He seems to find those. In Philly, he got him at 1, up above the belt. And it snuck over. It had to be reviewed, but that's his first career grand slam.
And that was against a lefty, Cole Hamels. And line to Ramirez, no double play. So the ball that is hit on the nose ends up being an out. In fact, maybe the 2 hardest hit balls in this inning. Kane and Butler have been outs. And now they're loaded up for Hosmer.
Nothing you can do. Try to hit the ball hard. Hit it right at it. Maybe Haas can pick him up.
It took 3 innings for the Royals to send the first 9 to the plate today. And now all 9 come up here in the 5th. 26 pitches in this inning for Quintana after throwing just 56 in the first 4 innings combined. Hosmer is grounded to the mound and lined out to left. One and one.
It's been amazing to watch this Royals team this year come from behind and find ways to win games. But it seems like they wait till the second half of the game to get that offense going. We're seeing it here again today.
And I asked Ned Yost about that yesterday. You know, what is it about the second half of this game? And he simply said that he feels like this team plays with energy for all 9 innings. There's no fade in energy as might be the case with some teams once you get to the 7th, 8th, 9th innings. It's not that there's an increase in energy later in the game. It's just steady 1 through 9. Up the left field line, and De Aza in foul ground makes the play. The Royals come up with 3. Tejada ties the game. Mike Moustakas snapped the no-hitter. Tejada drove in the first, Alex Gordon on an error the second, and Alcides Escobar the third.
Kauffman Stadium, Jeremy Guthrie, all the buzz last night with his first career shutout, 2 hours and 18 minutes, and now 17 straight games without a loss, and that broke the Royals record held by our good friend, the late Paul Splittorff. And well, guys, I got a text last night at 10:46 from Kurt Nelson, who directs the Royals Hall of Fame out there in left field. He was texting as he was heading to his car, because he was already setting up that display. Jeremy Guthrie, the jersey worn last night, is already in a case on display, as we are going to see a hit from Paul Konerko, his first of the day. But, you know, interesting, Ryan and Rex, because Kurt said he was a little bit concerned when he got that jersey. He didn't know if the case would fog up. He said it was still wet. And from the Gatorade bath he took, it had shaving cream, which he got when he was in the clubhouse from his teammates. Case didn't fog up. Jersey had a little foam on it this morning as that shaving cream had bubbled up a little bit, but otherwise good to go in there for history.
All right, thanks, Joel. Well, I mean, that's impressive, period. I mean, it's a team record and a franchise that for a long time was very rich in pitching. And that whole streak started against the White Sox. Ball 1-2 Gillespie. And as good as Jeremy Guthrie has been with the Royals, it's easy to forget that he lost his first 3 starts when he came over from Colorado. And then he and Dave Island got together and started making the adjustments. And he's been one of the best pitchers in the game since that win August 8th of last year against the Sox.
And, you know, it's impressive that Dave Island didn't just start to work on him when he first got here. He let him go out and pitch and 2 or 3 starts before he started breaking down the mechanics.
Hit well to center. Kane was shallow. And he makes the play, running onto the warning track. Konerko had gotten all the way to second base. So he's back to first, 1 down. Gillespie is 0 for 2.
Guys, one thing I really liked last night from Jeremy Guthrie, his stuff was just electric. The movement on his pitch, that's probably as good a movement that I've really seen in his outings here in Kansas City. In complete command of the game, all of his pitches. It reminded me a little bit of Greg Maddux last night, the way that ball was starting on the inside batter's box and coming back over to play. Just very, very effective.
That's a great comparison. Quick outs, relying more on movement than he was power. He only struck out 3, but was equally as dominant. I mean, the strikeouts were down, but at the same time, I mean, the White Sox were as overmatched as if he would have struck out 10.
Absolutely.
Tim Collins warming up in the Royals pen as Wade Davis is coming up on 100 pitches. White Sox scored in the third on a Fielder's choice from Rios, driving in Wise. And the Royals just scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th. Tejada, Gordon, and Escobar driving in the runs. There's the curve, and that's been good since the first inning, 0-2.
And a big inning here for Wade Davis. You always got to shut him down. After your team scores, get back out there, shut him down, put a 0 on the board. He's probably getting close to the end of his limits based on a pitch count, so make it a good one.
Keep the momentum on the Royals side.
On the ground to Escobar. Out at second. Quick turn. Double play. Thank you, Monty. We'll see you in Boulevard Royals Live.
Sounds good, Ryan.
1 run allowed by Wade Davis in 6 innings, and the Royals lead 3-1.
Ham and eggs, roll them over.
Royals baseball is brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. Royals with a 3-run bottom of the 5th inning after being no hit for 4 innings. Lorenzo Cain started that inning with a fly out to deep center field, which required a good play by Dwayne Wise. And we didn't know it at the time, but that was a sign of things to come as Mike Moustakas singled, Jeff Francoeur doubled, Perez walked, Tejada singled in a run. Alex Gordon reached on an error. A run scored on that play. Deep short, Ramirez stumbles, bobbles the ball, and that cost him, and Lorenzo is safe.
All right, you know, that one worked for Cain, but earlier in the games against the White Sox, they robbed Cain. Watch Gordon Beckham on this. Takes a knock away from him. I mean, that was well struck and a beautiful. And Lorenzo saying, all right, he'll even up. But that's what you call stupid hitting. The next day, he hits it right back to the same guy. Ryan, what's up with that? Now, today, there it was. Wise got him. So he finally was able to get a hit out of a ball he hit at one of these guys. And, by the way, Lorenzo Cain's hitting over 400 from the 6th inning on. Maybe that has something to do with his uniform number 6.
Which would remind a lot of longtime Royals fans of Willie Wilson.
He's got the perfect number because the body, the physique, it's all similar to Willie. Of course, Lorenzo's really, this is his first full season. We're hoping we see one with injury-free.
0-2 on Moustakas. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Michael Logan, who lives in Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Michael wins $300. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Michael wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. Moustakas broke the seal, if you will, on that 3-run 5th inning, getting the Royals' first hit, a solid base hit into right field. And he scored the game-tying run on Tejada's base hit. Alex Gordon reached on the air and got an RBI, and Alcides Escobar drove in the 3rd run in the inning.
Hitters love to come to the plate, and when you can do it in back-to-back innings, that's a bonus. They hit around. The Royals did in that 5th, as you documented all the hitting that was going on there. And to come up the next inning, you're like, okay, remember when you were in Little League, you couldn't wait to get to the plate.
Inside to Moustakas, and then as Jeff Montgomery was saying, when Wade Davis took the mound in the 6th, after the Royals get those 3 runs, you want to come out and get a quick inning. And Wade Davis needed 6 pitches to get through the White Sox in the top of the 6th, get the Royals back to the plate. And Lorenzo Cain opens the inning with an infield single. He started to swing and held on appeal to third base umpire Kerwin Danley. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Cain's got 3 stolen bases on the young season. He's been caught 3 times.
And that's through the right side. Cain will stop at second as Rios was on it in a hurry. And Mike Moustakas has a 2-hit game. Royals have 2 on with nobody out. And now Robin Ventura has decided that that's enough for Quintana. A very dramatic turn of events. 4 no-hit innings for Quintana. He gives up 3 in the 5th, does not get an out in the 6th, and he is out. Nate Jones is the Chevy call to the bullpen for the White Sox. The Royals so far, well, no surprise, starting pitching. And we've seen both of those today for the Royals. Starting pitching and some clutch hitting. Zach Brady participated in the Sprint Unlimited Answers question earlier this year. He registered for seats in the Crown Club, and he's here today. Zach Brady of Blue Springs, Missouri. So don't forget, when you get that bounce back text message, to register for your chance to watch a game here at Kauffman Stadium that close to home plate.
Man, you know what? That camera angle there is pretty cool. How are they getting that shot?
2 on, nobody out. Jeff Francoeur facing Nate Jones. He throws low for ball 1. Francoeur was part of the 3-run 5th inning with a double to left field, and he scored when Alex Gordon reached on the air by Keppinger.
Yeah, there's the camera up there. There it is. I was wondering, what the heck? Look how they get the shot like that. They got a remote camera that sits up there on the backstop.
Caught by Ramirez. Double play. That's a tough play if you're Kane, isn't it, Hud? Because, I mean, that ball was hit so low. I mean, that's not a sure line out to the shortstop. He picked that off the dirt, or before it got to the dirt.
Nothing you can do. There was a little bit of a pause in Lorenzo getting back to the base. I don't know if he slipped or what, but that's, see, he hesitated right there, but you know, you can't do anything about that. They teach you to freeze on liners, freeze on the line. He did that. Nate Jones, you can sit on fastballs, and he's got a good one. He'll go mid to upper 90s with it. A little 2-seamer, curve slider. He's got a change up too, but mainly fastball slider.
One ball, one strike, and now the ball pops out of Jimenez's glove, and Moustakas, keeping his eye on the play, moves up 90 feet.
Okay, that's good instincts right there. You want your runners to be able to move on any ball that's kicked by the catcher or that you can't keep in front of him. And you have to be alert and looking for it. Moose was. Look at him at the top of your screen. He makes up his mind right away. I can advance. Getting in the scoring position is big. And get all the runs you can. With a home run hitting team like the White Sox, no lead is really safe.
And Moustakas getting way out there at second base, almost as if he is making a move toward third. Ramirez picks up the ground ball from Perez and throws out Sal to end the inning. At the end of 6, the Royals lead the White Sox 3-1. Cinco de Mayo, a week from today, we'll celebrate Mother's Day as the Royals take on the Yankees. It's a 1:10 game. And moms, the gift is on us. The first 10,000 ladies through the gates will receive a blue pashmina scarf. Brought to you by Diet Pepsi. Get your tickets now at Royals.com or by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS. Pashmina scarf. That's the fur from the very rare South American animal, the pashmina.
Here you go.
I just made that up.
Oh, darn it.
Tim Collins comes on in the 7th. 6 very good innings for Wade Davis. Fewer than 100 pitches. Gives up 1 run, 5 hits. departs with the lead and turns it over to the bullpen in the 7th inning.
Well, when you're competing amongst each other, like the starting pitchers are, Wade Davis, after following that complete game shutout from Guthrie, was telling himself, I must not let my starting staff down.
Oh, 0-1 on Hector Jimenez. 0 for 2. And that will slice back into the seats. And that's really a difficult thing to define. It's difficult to quantify the competition within a team, where when one guy performs, the other guy wants to perform, and how the performance of teammates elevates the play of other teammates. It just happens.
Yes, that's internal competition. And, you know, us as human beings are competitive by nature. But when you get to play a great game like this of baseball, and you're competing against the world's greatest baseball players, it comes out even more. It feeds. Like sitting up here, it was the greatest job in the world playing baseball. It was so fun.
Tejada got a glove on it, and Jimenez will begin the 7th inning with a base hit.
Okay, Tejada did all he could. Trying to just knock it down. Whenever you hit a ball hard like that to fielders left or right, you got a chance. Talking about internal competition. Okay, there's competition amongst the bullpen guys. I mean,
ball 1 to Dwayne Wise.
But they all stick together. Okay, they encourage one another amongst the competition because they're in it to win. And so when you have a team philosophy and a team concept going on, you're competing against each other, sure, but you got each other's backs.
2-0. And then there's that blurry line between internal competition and expectation, and how that elevates a player's performance. That, you know, you play for a sleepy team that's not really expected to do much. That it takes a strong man to be able to play through that. Even though it's easy to assume, well, these guys are making a lot of money, they're on television, they're on radio, people come out and watch them play. That elevates a player's performance. Just the attention on the team, the expectation of the team, the performance of the players around them. Very hard to describe, but it just happens.
Okay, so that's why it's more important as Collins comes in. Good 3 pitches he's got. Good mid-90s fastball, big curve, and a straight changeup that's a beauty. That's why it's important. Come to that ballpark, you carry yourself like you're hitting 350 and your team's in first, no matter if that's not the case or not.
And a base hit to left field for Wise, and now the White Sox have 2 on with nobody out.
Carry yourself with confidence at all times.
And now look at today's Toyota League leaders. The Royals are 9-4 at home this year. Best records at home in the American League. Tigers, the Rangers, and then the Royals as far as winning percentage goes. And as we showed you at the top of the broadcast, a year ago the Royals were 2-11 at home.
Ooh. Yeah, was not a good taste in the mouths of them. And these fans here, they deserve a winner. And again, it goes back to Dayton Moore. He said it's time to change the losing culture here. We're going to win. And ownership backed him. They've got they added some talented players to an already young, talented team.
Now ball 1 outside to De Aza, and the Royals are not convinced, totally convinced, that De Aza is going to swing away. He has hit well against lefties. In fact, much better against lefties than he has against righties. But just in case, Moustakas is on the grass at third and Hosmer is in at first. And De Aza is swinging. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Our grand poobah, or associate producer in the truck, Al Broughton. I asked him, Al, we played a lot of day games. Could you look up and see what our record is? And instantaneously, there it was. 9-3. That's 3rd best in the majors in day games. Thank you, Al. Roll a pair here. Everybody be happy.
Curveball a little bit high. 2 balls and 1 strike. De Aza is 1 for 4 in previous at-bats against Collins and has walked twice. He is glad to see Wade Davis out of the game. Wade struck him out twice. And we were telling you earlier that even though he's a leadoff hitter, De Aza has been piling up the strikeouts. He has struck out 36 times this year. And he hits it well to left field. Alex was playing shallow, racing to the corner, and it's off his glove. And the White Sox are going to get 2 to tie the game.
Okay, Collins hasn't been able to figure out the 8 and 9 hitters, and now the leadoff batter, De Aza. They've all hit him pretty well. Gordon just ticks off his glove.
And now the White Sox have the go-ahead run at second base with nobody out. So Collins faces 3, including a couple of lefties. All 3 reach. And now Aaron Crow to face Jeff Keppinger. The MLB.com at-bat app is the only source for live baseball everywhere you go. Delivering Royals baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, breaking news, and video highlights. And you can download it now at your app store. And there's a ground ball to Tejada off the bat of Keppinger. So the Royals get the first out in the inning. And the White Sox get the go-ahead run at third with 1 down.
Okay, that's nice by Keppinger. A couple hits already on the day. He's made solid contact and he's able to advance the runner over to second base, or excuse me, to third.
So Crow, who has not allowed an earned run yet, 7 2/3 innings, and he's only given up 4 hits. And now the pitch gets past Perez, and the White Sox will take the lead on a ball that gets by Salvador Perez. It's a wild pitch charged to Aaron Crow.
He knocks almost every ball down. You rarely see a ball get back there. I mean, look, you can't fault Salvi there.
And now Rios hits a slow roller foul.
These guys have so much confidence in Salvi. They can throw anything they want, anytime. Runners at third, wherever, because they can trust that Salvi can block them, but he's not going to block all of them. He's not superhuman. Especially to his backhand side like that in the left-handed batter's box.
So that closes the book on Tim Collins. 3 batters, 3 hits, 3 runs. And it also means that Wade Davis will not be the winning pitcher today, after Davis went 6 and gave up 1 run.
All right, the wild pitch that got away. Much it hit the left-handed batter's box, it hit in the toe hole and it kicked to the right. So talk about a bad hop for a catcher. That was one there.
And now Rios cranks it to deep left field. Alex is all the way back, and Alex Rios has hit his 7th home run of the year to give Chicago a 2-run lead. They have scored 4 in the 7th inning, and that's the first earned run against Aaron Crow all year.
Okay, it's hard to hold this guy down long. Like a changeup that was just straight. I don't think that was his breaking ball for sure, even though he hasn't had good control or good command with his slider. Took something off of that pitch and it was right there.
And now Dunn swings and misses. He is 0 for 3.
And for Collins, that's 2 rough outings in a row.
Tejada trying to run in from right field, and Escobar is not going to get Adam Dunn. So you play Dunn that way, you don't expect a slow roller to the right side.
I'm sure Miguel was calling him off on that. Slow roller, and Escobar was playing him to pull, but Tejada's got to call him off. That's a routine out. You can't give him any more outs. And Escobar couldn't get the grip first time on it either. I don't think Tejada even saw him. Wasn't expecting him to come all the way over there.
So the inning just gets longer, and now Paul Konerko. 1 for 3 today. He has driven in 142 runs in his career against the Royals. That is the most all time. And that was a swing. No balls and 2 strikes. Konerko doesn't think so.
Konerko hasn't grounded into a double play all year.
And he'll strike out on 3 pitches. And now Connor Gillespie 0 for 2 with a walk. 0 for 5 in the series. Started the series with a 6-game hitting streak and was hitting at .319. Into left field, shallow. Alex is there to make the play. A 4-run 7th inning for Chicago. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals are down by 2.
Josh Donaldson home run late at Yankee Stadium gives the A's the eventual win. Cleveland's 6-game winning streak finally comes to an end. Minnesota, with help from Mike Pelfrey on the mound. Toronto been struggling mightily, but they put up a 10 spot against Seattle. Boston, middle of that game, up 3-1. Big Papi going deep along with David Ross. Los Angeles and Baltimore just got going a little while ago. Jason Hamill getting roughed up early by the Angels. And Detroit just continues the absolute onslaught of runs that they've been putting up against the Houston Astros. Our Mazda game break takes us to that AL Central matchup between the Indians and the Twins. Trevor Plouffe goes poof, as Rex might say, and that is gone for the home run. So I guess nice to see the Indians get slowed down. Hey, guys, a couple other quick notes. Jake Odorizzi and 3 other relievers in AAA today combined for a no-hitter. Odorizzi went 7 innings. And then how about this, and I'm curious your thoughts. Roy Halladay pulled after 2 1/3 today, gave up 9 earned runs against the Marlins. His last start against Cleveland, 3 2/3, 8 earned runs. He had a 7 earned run game earlier in April. His ERA now stands at 8.65. And I'm not saying this to upset Joe Lavero, the Phillies fan, but, I mean, this is one of the best pitchers in the last 10 years.
You know, it's hard to be the king on the mountaintop for all them years. I mean, he's going to start coming down. But when you start coming down and losing some velocity, that's really when you got to make sure your mechanics are all just right and you're able to hit your spots and learn how to get by without that velocity blowing it by hitters. It's an adjustment. Every pitcher has to go through it.
Tejada hits it into shallow center. Ramirez is out. Wise is coming in, and it drops. I got it, you take it. And Tejada has his second hit.
That's why you want to come out of the box and go hard, because you never know. Wise hesitated a little bit, and that was the problem. And if you're a center fielder, you're coming to getting that all the way. And they were looking for him to do that, but he hesitated just a little bit.
So back come the Royals. And it'll be Matt Thornton coming on for Chicago. Alex Gordon, Alcides Escobar coming up. Royals down by 2 in the 7th. Let's take a look at today's AT&T trivia question. Which pitcher has the most shutouts in a single season since 2000? Jeremy Guthrie pitched his first last night. The most shutouts in a single season since 2000. Matt Thornton on to face Alex Gordon, who is 0 for 3, but he has driven in a run. Down and away, ball 1. Thornton recorded the final out of the bottom of the 8th last night after Dylan Axelrod went 7 2/3 innings, and the White Sox bullpen has really struggled over their past 9 games with an ERA of almost 7.
Okay, fastballs, and more fastballs. He'll cut it and he'll slide it. Thornton will.
A rare 0 for 3 for Alex against a lefty. And that's outside, 3-0.
How about King Felix for the answer to the trivia question?
How about the guy we were just talking about with Joel, Roy Halladay? I'm close, Joe Lavero tells me. So is it one of his relatives or?
Cliff Lee.
3-1. Okay, so the close was one of his teammates.
Cliff Lee for sure.
And the answer is Cliff Lee was 6
Ding, 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 ding,
2 years ago.
Sorry, Al.
And Alex was on his way to first. This time Mike Malinsky, the home plate umpire, gave Thornton the call.
That's where Alex likes it, off the lefties. He's looking to shoot you the other way.
And gets a strikeout with a fastball at 94. And now a couple of right-hand bats coming up. Robin Ventura will stay with Thornton. Now Cetus Escobar. Very similar game today as last night. 1 hit and a couple of hard hit outs. Last night it was 1 hit, 3 hard hit outs. So he's 2 for 7 in the series, but he's 7 for 7 when it comes to making solid contact. And pass done and into right field. Tejada will stop at second base. Escobar is 2 for 4.
All right, do you leave Thornton in for Billy Butler, or do you go to the pin? And if you do, they got a righty down there. Escobar, good piece of hit there. Nice. He looked like he was going that way the whole time with his approach.
Well, Billy, as he was walking to home plate, he was looking right into the White Sox dugout. Now, Billy is just 3 out of 13 in the pass against Thornton, but he was still expecting the move. And Robin Ventura will go to the bullpen. So Thornton faces 3. He gives up 2 hits. And Matt Lindstrom will come on to face Billy Butler. Royals down by 2, 1 out, bottom of the 7th. That young guy is either excited about the moment as the Royals have 2 on 1 out, or he's just doing that to stay warm.
Too much cotton candy.
Matt Lindstrom comes on with 2 on 1 out. This is his first year with the White Sox. He had 23 saves for the Astros 3 years ago and has 45 major league saves. So getting another closer for the back end of the bullpen. And Lindstrom to face Billy Butler. Billy walked in the 4th. He has also struck out and lined to short.
He's 0 for 2 off of Lindstrom is Billy Butler. Mid-90s fastball, slider, and a change.
And a slider that looked like they have tied up Jimenez. 1 ball and no strikes. Billy is due against the White Sox. 2 years ago, he had 16 RBIs against Chicago. He had 14 more last year. This year, he's just 1 for 16 with 1 RBI. Fastball over the outside at 96. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tejada at second, Escobar at first. And Billy, a hot shot to Keppinger, who backhands, and the White Sox will turn a double play. Hit it right into the defense. And the Royals come up empty in the bottom of the 7th. 5-3 Chicago. For the White Sox tomorrow, we'll head to Baltimore for a 3-game series and only a 3-game road trip, and then come home for just a 3-game homestand. Teams in the American League East, the 2 teams that went to the playoffs in the American League East. The Yankees won the division, the Orioles won the wild card. So that's the next 2 opponents coming up for the Royals. And in the East right now, both the Orioles and the Yankees are chasing the Red Sox, who've been a surprise team so far. 10 games over 500 under first-year manager John Farrell.
Yep, Toronto did a lot. Increased their payroll. They got a lot of different star players, and they were expected to run away with the division. To see them 10 games back, that's got to be the shocker of the year so far.
Luke Hochevar gets the 8th inning, and he'll get the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. White Sox have scored at least 1 run against Wade Davis, Tim Collins, and Aaron Crow, who all preceded Hochevar. And a ground ball up the middle, backhanded by Tejada to first in time.
Okay, he's made that play from shortstop plenty of times in his great career, but making it from second base is a lot different. You've got to be able to get up and stay on top of the ball. Okay, you find the grip, you got to throw off your right foot, Got to stay on top of the ball, and he did that masterfully. He's got plenty of game left in him.
He's got a couple of hits today, Tejada does, and an RBI. And now Jimenez, and that's across the knees for a strike. Hochevar at 95 miles an hour. So Hochevar now has pitched 9 innings out of the bullpen and has allowed 1 earned run with 11 strikeouts. No balls and 2 strikes.
Hey, he's got great stuff. Same kind of stuff we've always seen out of Hoch. He's just getting used to the bullpen, and so far he's all right with it. Gives Ned the options of, him and Bruce Chin from the right and left sides. Long guys that can eat up a few extra innings when he needs to.
And he strikes out Jimenez on 3 pitches.
Eight, 9 hitters of the White Sox, Jimenez and Wise, they've been very productive today's game. 4 hits between them, 3 runs between them.
And Wise is 3 for 3. He scored 2 of those 3 runs. And he gets jammed and hits a pop-up in front of the White Sox bullpen, and Moustakas and Perez collide. And Perez sliding into Moustakas' glove, hitting him on the mouth. But he's to his feet quickly. He has a smile on his face. And that's a quick 8th inning for Hochevar. Royals down by 2 to the bottom of the 8th. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
5th inning. This young kid, Jose Quintana, was dealing. He hadn't given up a hit until the Royals got a hold of him in the 5th. He scored 3 runs. And it helped when Keppinger couldn't make the play. Escobar kept it going. Little frenzy hitting broke out, but if they're going to win this 2nd game of the series, they're going to have to do it again.
Here's the Subway box score. So Escobar, Moustakas, and Tejada all have 2 hits. With Tejada, Gordon, and Escobar driving in the runs. And now the Royals will be facing their 5th pitcher of the day. Jesse Crane comes on for the bottom of the 8th. And ball 1 to Eric Hosmer, who is 0 for 3. Crane has pitched very well. A 1.5 ERA, 16 strikeouts in 12 innings. And hit well into left center field. Wise on the run. Dwayne Wise has been all over the place today, and that's the second line out for Eric Hosmer today.
Let's go back to that play that ended the inning in that last half. They were okay. Neither one of them, I guess they were both calling at the same time. Moose sticks out his glove and gives Salvi a little ball sandwich there. Didn't taste good. Bloodied his nose. And fortunately, everybody's all right. Nice play. Ball wasn't high enough in the air for either one of them to really say, I got it, I got it. So fortunately, everybody's all right.
Lorenzo Cain is 1 for 3 today. No balls, 2 strikes. This would be a high scoring game between the Royals and the White Sox, and it's only 5-3. In the first 4 games between the two teams, they combined to score 14 runs. Not 14 runs apiece, 14 runs period. So that would be 3.5 runs combined each game.
Seen some good pitchers duel, and it's not going to change either tomorrow.
James Shields and Chris Sale is going to start tomorrow for the White Sox, as Jake Peavy has been scratched for the second time in a week. 2-2 on Lorenzo Cain. Peavy had some back problems the other night when the White Sox were in Texas, and he was moved to tomorrow and had a workout yesterday that did not go very well. So he's been scratched again, and it'll be a rematch of opening day. Shields and Sale. Cain into center field for a 1-out base hit. That's his second hit of the day. 1 on, 1 out.
He hits after the 6th inning. For some reason. Getting close to 500 after the 6th. Let's see if they can try to hit it where they ain't, because they've been making some good contact today, but a lot of atom balls off of the Royals' bats.
Moustakas 2 hits and a run scored. Did an interview with Rusty Kuntz on the radio side, our Hot Stove show, and we were talking about some of the key players for this year, key performances, and Rusty Kuntz said Lorenzo Cain, in his mind, if everybody else does what they're capable of doing, he could be the key player this year for what he does on defense and what he does at the plate, what he's capable of doing at the plate. Gillespie makes the play in foul territory. Moustakas is the second out. And maybe there's some truth to that, because when Lorenzo Cain has 2 or more hits, the Royals are 7-2 this year.
He's a nice athlete with a lot of skills, and I think his power is going to develop even more so as he gets used to the pitchers and gets in the league and gets to feel what kind of offensive player he's going to be. He's got good speed. Seen him line the ball all over the park. He gets a spray hitter with some alley power and occasional home run power. And that could change as he evolves, matures.
Francoeur 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored back in the Royals' 3-run 5th. 0-1. Trying to find the right pitch and tie this thing with one swing.
He was, and that's 95, but when it's elevated there, you can't touch it. Big curveball and a changeup Jesse Crain has. Royals, they've been scoring a lot of runs with 2 outs.
And Francoeur just out in front. So he got a better pitch to handle, and he was all over it and hooked it foul. That's what he's trying to do.
That ball was 3 inches in.
On Cinco de Mayo, that fan was ready to throw his sombrero in the air. And Crane again trying to go high with the fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Royals did not have a hit until the 5th inning against Jose Quintana, and then they scored 3 to take a 3-1 lead and carried that into the 7th when the White Sox scored 4. 2-2.
Yep, he swung at it once. They're trying to get him to swing at it again.
And we'll do it again. Royals are 16-10. And of those 16 wins, 10 have been come from behind wins. And they've already come from behind once today, but gave the lead back to the White Sox in the 7th. Green strikes him out, and that's the inning. So we go to the 9th. Still Chicago 5 and the Royals 3.
Five to 3 when this one is over. Jeff Montgomery and I will bring you Boulevard Royals Live, wrap up this game, post-game reaction from Ned Yost and the clubhouse with Nate Bukaty, and we'll get you ready for tomorrow's game, the makeup from Friday. How about the pitching matchup? And we are on TV, a battle of aces, rematch of opening day, Chris Sale against James Shield, coverage beginning on Hy-Vee Royals Live at 12:30 on Fox Sports Kansas City. So, hey, Hud, it's not too much to ask for a walk-off win on my birthday, is it?
Oh, man, would that be special.
Let's do it.
First things first, Hoach has got to be able to stay on his nice path downhill towards that strike zone like he's been doing, coming right at hitters.
He only needed 6 pitches to get to the White Sox in the 8th, and now it's the top of the order in the 9th. De Aza, he tied the game with a double in the 7th inning, followed by Keppinger and then Rios, who hit a home run in that 4-run 7th inning. On the ground to Hosmer. He'll take it himself. 1 down. So the transition has been smooth so far. Hochevar going to the bullpen. Talking to him yesterday about that transition, and he says there's still a lot of learning for him, but he likes it. He's a high adrenaline guy. And I think the 2 biggest question marks about that transition for him had to do with pitching in back-to-back games as Keppinger lifts it to right and Frank Coeur makes a play, 2 down. So pitching in back-to-back games and coming into the game in the middle of an inning as opposed to a starter always getting a clean inning. And Luke was saying that, you know, even as a starter, a lot of guys the next day after their start, their arm is kind of sore, their body's kind of sore. He takes very good care of himself, and he's never been one that had to deal with that soreness the next day. So the first time he pitched back-to-back days this year, he felt fine the next day. He has only been on the disabled list once in his career because of anything that had to do with his arm, and only twice, period. Good breaking ball to Rios. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good location. He looks confident. He looks relaxed. Hochevar.
Fouled away by Rios, who is responsible for our forward play of the game. We go back to the 7th with 1 out.
No doubter. Wow, at least so far, this is our play of the game. You never know for a Royals comeback, but you don't stand. Not too many hitters stand straight up like he does. I mean, we saw Longoria. He kind of stands up a little bit straight, but there's hardly any bend in Rios' knees at all. Turns in that front foot a little bit, keep him closed.
3-2. Before that home run, he had just 6 hits in his last 47 at bats. It's dropped his batting average below 250. Pulled foul. And when I think of Luke Hochevar, I think of a emotional guy on the mound. I mean, he'll slap his hand in his glove when somebody makes a good play on defense, go running off the mound at the end of an inning. So that adrenaline rush of coming out of the bullpen might be a good fit for his personality. And at least for today, he continues to roll along, pitching out of the pen as he faces 6 and retires 6. So Addison Reed on for the save for the White Sox. The Royals have Perez, Tejada, and Gordon coming up. Four hits last night in his first major league shutout. Remember to vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. Today, the White Sox have 5 runs on 10 hits, and Addison Reed, who is 10 out of 10 in save opportunities this year, and 17 out of 17 going back to last year. He'll come on to face Perez, and then George Kataris is going to bat for Miguel Tejada, followed by Alex Gordon.
Fans got their rally caps on, and they'll need it to get through Reed. Like you said, he's been perfect this year. Mid-90s fastball. He'll cut his fastball a little bit at times to righties and lefties. He's got a slider. Occasional changeups.
Down and in, ball 1 to Perez. 0 for 2 with a walk in the 5th inning, and he came around to score.
George Kataris is on the on-deck circle. Pinch hit for Tejada. Two and 0.
Last year, Addison Reed had a White Sox record for saves by a rookie with 29, but his ERA was almost 5. There's a strike, 2 and 1.
Kind of throws across his body. He's got a little bit of a funky delivery, some deception.
Three and 1. Leadoff walk.
Okay, so Chris Getz will come out and run for Salvi, which makes sense as he's pinch hitting right now Kataris for Tejada. So Getz will go in and play some second base. If they need him there, they can tie it. Still got Gerard Dyson in there. Pinch run. George can find a way to get on.
Kataris has just 11 plate appearances this year. But Ned Yost hasn't hesitated to put him in situations like this, knowing that he's still going to take a patient approach to the plate. Not going to help the pitcher out. Remember, he had that big bases loaded walk for the Royals during the doubleheader in Boston during the last road trip, and that was coming off the bench. So doesn't get caught up in the situation and help the pitcher out. And now that gets through Jimenez and moves Getz up to second base. It is a wild pitch on Reed.
Reed, he's not looking very comfortable out there, especially with his fastball. He's not able to put it where he wants to so far.
Kataris has not faced Addison Reed. Inside, 2-1. When Jeff Montgomery was in the booth with us a few innings ago, and we were talking about how to manage the base runners in certain situations, and Reed isn't just going to let Getz walk around the bases, but in a 2-run game, his attention should not be divided. Getz is not nearly as important as Kataris is, and he doesn't even check Getz, and he misses low. 3-1.
Yep, so look, now Kataris has seen 4 pitches and he hasn't swung yet, so he's really not in the game, so to speak, as far as gauging his swing on Addison Reed's fastball. But right here, you got to be looking to hit right down the middle if it's a good pitch that you can handle. If not, let Gordon do what he can. He's on deck. You're a pinch hitter. You're not a pinch looker.
Well, he was a pinch looker this time. Back-to-back walks. And as good as Reed has been with 10 consecutive saves, he has walked 8 in 13 innings. So he's had to work around some walks to get those 10 saves. And I think that look on Robin Ventura's face says it all.
Yeah. This is a time that gives the manager some indigestion right here. Gordon's done it before, April 14th. Just last month. Didn't seem like it was much long ago against the Blue Jays. Gordon confidently stepped in and delivered. Get scores, walk off. Be a beautiful thing if it could happen here today for Royals fans and Joe Goldberg and Sammy Abramson. It's his birthday.
And Alex against Reed is 0 for 2 with a walk. So Reed has walked Perez, Getz is running for him, and he has walked Gutierrez. And Alex goes after the first pitch. Not a bad idea with a guy struggling with his control.
He's trying to get that first one over in the runner in scoring position. Gordon knows how to do it. Coming into this game, hit .520 with a runner out there. Gutierrez over there at first base. They elected not to pinch run for him. He can get a big lead. Adam Dunn's way off in the first.
And just outside. And now you can see in the body language the frustration of Addison Reed. Might be a combination of frustrated with himself and maybe a little bit with the home plate umpire.
Well, when you come in and you're not commanding and you're missing the strike zone, they're not going to give you borderline calls. It's just the way it is.
And Alex staying back on a changeup. He tried to stay back and he flies to left field for the first out. So Reed comes up with a big pitch after walking the first 2 hitters. And last year, as he was piling up the saves, he felt like at the end of the year that teams were sitting on certain pitches. When he didn't have his slider, they would just sit on his fastball, and so he needed to add a pitch, be more consistent with all of his pitches. So if the slider wasn't working, the fastball wasn't working, he'd have something else to go to. So 2 on, 1 out to Alcides Escobar. There's him knocking the ball all over Kauffman Stadium in this series with the White Sox. And he hits it foul off to the first base side. He has only 3 hits. However, every out has been hit right on the nose, which should come as no surprise to Chicago because last year Escobar hit .448 against the White Sox. He is 1 for 2 with a walk, by the way, against Reed. Oh, 2. That's the trademark pitch of Addison Reed, a slider.
And when he comes from that cross-firing angle on a righty, that makes it really difficult to keep your shoulder in on that. Now they're playing Escobar to the opposite field, so they're leaving some lanes open for him here and down the line. So they think he's going to shoot that ball to the opposite field. He does a lot, but he does have the ability to turn on one. And if he does pull one, finds a hole down there, it could score Gutierrez from first.
That's in the air to shallow center field. So the last 2 outs, hitters just out in front trying to lift it. Fly to the outfield, and now another shot for Billy Butler. And Hud, I'll say about Billy now what I said in the 7th inning when he came up with 2 on 1 out. He is due against the White Sox, and he hit a bullet with right to Keppinger, who is playing up the middle like he is right now, and grounded into a double play.
Well, the good thing is he can't ground into a double play here. He can only make this place go crazy here with a Billy bomb.
Billy is 0 for 4 against Reed. 1 strikeout. Outside with the slider, ball 1. Again, the changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike. Either a changeup or a slider that just spun. Very little break.
He throws the changeup right down the middle. Billy will make a mental note of that one. Sure. He's looking for the hard one.
Got a pitch up and fouled it back. And a nice grab downstairs by a Royals fan. Female Royals fan with her Royals hoodie on. Played the ricochet perfectly off the press box windows.
Made that look easy.
That. Got her Cinco de Mayo Royals cooler around her shoulders. So the gal makes the catch and gives it to the guy for a change.
About time. Oh, Billy.
Two and 2. The inning began with Salvador Perez reaching with a walk. Getz ran for him. Gutierrez batting for Tejada walked. So 2 on, nobody out, and now 2 flyouts from Gordon and Escobar. Just outside with the slider. Billy wouldn't go for it. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
All right, runners will be moving on the pitch. So a well-placed ball in the gap would keep this game alive.
They're going to set up inside, and Billy gets it foul. How did he get around on that?
I don't know, but you almost can't take that right there. Anything close, you can't take it. Got to be hacking. His bat stayed intact, and that was way in. I mean, that ball kept coming in. Now Billy, he's protecting. Had he taken that one, it would have been ball 4.
Drilled into right center field, and Billy Butler is going to tie the game.
That was well placed. Addison Reed made a mistake with the slider. I thought he'd come right back in there with that hard-running fastball as he's going to pass the baton now to Gerard Dice. Is going to come and run for him. That's a hanging slider that just says, hit me. And Billy hit it a ton. Nice swing. Now with Dyson at second base, they have a chance to win it. Talked about Addison Reed being perfect with 10 for 10. Not no more.
And now Hosmer with a chance to win it. And he's after the first pitch into left field, and Dwayne Wise, or Deaza, makes the play in left. That's the third time that Eric Hosmer has lined to the outfield today.
Oh, at least we're still playing. Way to go, Billy. Way to take advantage of that 3-2 cookie.
So the 2 walks to begin the inning turned into 2 runs, and we go to the 10th, tied at 5. Jack Link's beef jerky all summer long. What a game. For 4 innings, the Royals didn't have a single hit. And then they scored 3 runs in the 5th. Had all the momentum. And I thought the game was over, Hud, to be honest with you. There's Chris Getz taking over at second base. He pinch ran for Perez. Now George Kataris is behind the plate. And Greg Holland throws ball 1 to Adam Dunn. But the White Sox scored 4 in the 7th. And the Royals got back-to-back walks to begin the bottom of the 9th. But then Addison Reed steadied himself. He got a couple of routine fly balls. Looked like he might get out of it. But Billy Butler on a 3-2 pitch doubled into right center field to tie it. And then Eric Hosmer, who's been hitting line drives to the outfield all day, almost won it.
You know, just a little bit more sink, a little more topspin on that ball, and Dyson would have been able to walk home.
2-1 on Adam Dunn, who has an infield single. He is 1 for 4. Dunn, Konerko, and Gillespie coming up against Holland in the 10th.
The big fella doesn't have a whole lot of infield hits in his career, but he sure does have a lot of hits to go over the fence. So Holland 2-0 got away with one there. He's going to have to make sure he's careful. Big, powerful guy.
3 balls and 1 strike. Royals are 2-0 in extra inning games this year, a couple of 10-inning games, and both on the last road trip. 1 in Boston, 1 in Detroit. Dunn, look out!
Ooh, man.
I think that hit a seat. Boy, I sure hope that hit an empty seat.
That was coming in with some big time velocity on that bat. Fortunate.
Boy, look at the 3 young boys in the screen right there, and that bat just went whistling over the Royals dugout.
I mean, it wasn't just tossed up there, it was thrown. Oh man, the 4 fans are going good today.
Pretty good swing. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Wade Davis went 6, gave up 1 run, and unfortunately will have to take a no decision. Collins gave up 3 runs, Crow 1 run, and the White Sox 4-run 7th. And then Luke Hochevar kept the White Sox right at 5 runs with 2 perfect innings, pitching the 8th and the 9th. And now Holland in the 10th. .96 miles an hour. Dunn strikes out for the 2nd time today. 1 down in the 10th. So the Royals tied it in the 9th, and we thought they won it in the 9th when Hosmer again lined it to the outfield, but De Aza, normally a center fielder, so good speed, good instincts, he came in to make the play.
Man, he had it off the bat. Hosmer's eyes lit up, thinking, all right. Oh, just back to the grindstone here. New game. Royals are 2-0 in extra innings this year. Like to make it 3.
One and one on Paul Konerko. 1 for 4 with a single today.
Might be some people out there saying, you know, it's not a safe situation. Why is Holland in? Well, Ned had him up already. He had him loosened up. Can't set him back down after that. He's ready to come in. Bring him in.
Little check swing roller, and Hosmer gets to it behind the bag for the 2nd out. And a lot of managers go with the philosophy when you're playing at home in a tie game, so you just need 1 run to end the game, that you go with your best pitcher in the top of the 10th inning, your best relief pitcher in the top of the 10th inning. Set yourself up for the walk-off in the bottom of the 10th. Ned Yost has done that many, many times, and so have other managers. It's not a safe situation, as Hud said, but it's just the formula for going into extra innings at home. You wouldn't see this on the road, because if the Royals were to score in the top half of the inning, well, then you want Greg Holland to come in for the save. Just outside, 2-0 on Gillespie, who is 0 for 3. And in the bottom of the 10th, the Royals will have Kane, Moustakas, and Francoeur. Two and 1. Hit well, left center field. Kane is there, and that's the inning. So Kane makes the play. He'll lead off the bottom of the 10th. So Greg Holland pitches a scoreless 10th, and the Royals bullpen has retired 10 in a row. Jeffrey looking into the crystal ball back in the bottom of the second inning. And who leads off the bottom of the 10th? Lorenzo Cain. Right. Now, you said to win right now, which he can't do in the bottom of the second inning.
That's just another blunder that comes out of my mouth.
Yeah, but I mean, it's what's the word? Clairvoyant.
Well, hopefully that ends up the case, because Lorenzo certainly could end it with one swing. He's got that kind of pop. But if he's going to have to get a pitch he can handle from Brian Omogrosso. Sinking fastball, slider, and a changeup. He'll go 92 to 95. He's got a good arm.
And the White Sox just have to be asking themselves, even though they're professionals, they have to be asking themselves, what do we have to do to win here? They have lost 6 of their last 7 in Kansas City and 12 of their last 16. And we're 1 strike away from taking the second game of the series when Billy Butler hit the 2-out game-tying double. Strike 2, Cain, who has 2 hits today, a couple of singles.
And, of course, both of them came from the 6th inning on.
Oh, and 2. The Royals have seen Omogrosso, just not this year. He did not start the year with the White Sox. He was just recently called up. In fact, this is his first appearance in the big leagues this season. And Cain with a ground ball, base hit into right field.
All right, Hector Jimenez, the catcher, he wanted that pitch up in the zone. Now that's 0-2. Typically, you're not going to give a good pitch to hit. He wanted it up a little higher. Look where Omogrosso, he's sitting up here. Excuse me. Jimenez, the catcher, he's sitting up there, but he was down low and just low enough for Locaine. Get on base. Short swing, short to the ball.
Mike Moustakas, and that's in the dirt. So Jimenez comes up big, keeping the winning run off of second base. Moustakas has 2 hits today, and he has scored 1 of the 5 runs. Cain has a good lead over at first base. 3 stolen bases this year. He's been thrown out 3 times, way inside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Might just play this one out here and see what happens. Let Moose have a good fastball he can handle here, and if he puts it in the gap somewhere, it could be interesting with a play at the plate.
Got the call. That's all right. Moustakas doesn't want to swing at that pitch. 2-1.
He's looking for some elevation, looking for something up.
Two and 2. The first 2 times the Royals played into the 10th inning this year, they took the lead on a bases loaded walk. And Moustakas strikes out, so Omogrosso comes back after falling behind 2-0. And now Jeff Francoeur, he doubled and scored in the Royals' 3-run 5th inning. He is also lined into a double play. He is 1 for 4.
Hey, we saw Ned Yost earlier. I wouldn't say we've seen it with regularity, but he has put a hit and run on with Frenchie hitting before.
And that was against the White Sox in the final game of the series. Led to a 3-run inning, and the Royals won that game 3-1. Kane looks like he's trying to get a jump over there, trying to read Omagrosso's move, and kind of flinched when the pitch came into Francoeur, but didn't go. 1 ball and no strikes.
You know, I'm not privy to who's got the green light. That means that you can run anytime you get a pitch. Some guys are more comfortable picking their own pitch, and sometimes they put the steal sign on that certain pitch. Guys aren't able to get the kind of jump they like.
Kane still flinching over there, not running. And it's 1-1 on Francoeur.
Usually Frenchie will take 1 or 2 swings in that bat. He's trying to hit one out of the park, but then singles are going to work too. Singles or doubles. Shorten up that swing and just try to make some contact here. Even though he's got a couple of strikes left.
Kane runs way inside, and Kane steals second base. And it's a hitter's count for Francoeur.
Okay, nice takeaway. Little peek back to see what the hitter's doing. Slide to the farthest corner of the bag. The infielder's going to try to tag you out, make him go a little further and get that outside corner. Outfielders have come in a little bit.
Rounded to third, and that ground ball eats up Gillespie. Low throw out at first base. What a dig on the swipe by Adam Dunn.
Rios, the right fielder, was backing that play up down the line. Kane wouldn't have scored if the ball got by Dunn, but man, I'll tell you, that would have made things interesting. And now Chris Getz comes up, has a chance to beat his former team.
Drafted by the White Sox out of the University of Michigan. Got his first big league hit for the White Sox against the Royals. And now Jimenez goes to the mound. And I don't think this was his own doing. I think this was the dugout telling him to go to the mound. And now they're going to be joined by pitching coach Don Cooper.
All right, let's see if we can read Coop's lips.
Now, he may have heard that you were reading his lips the last time he went out to the mound, because now he's...
But there's no, we can't, you know, the Royals don't have any of our feed down in the dugout. But that's why you do it. That's why you cover up. Now Getzy, he has a chance to be a hero.
And it looks like they're going to walk Getz. Jimenez putting out the 4 fingers, letting the defense know it's going to be an intentional walk. So setting up a ground ball and a force at any base. That's how the White Sox see it. Robin Ventura will take his chances with Omagrosso and George Kataris.
Hey, Getsy's got to feel pretty good about himself right here. He's saying, you know what? I like that. That's a little respect. They're thinking I could hurt them here. It's just the third intentional walk in his career. Attaboy, Getsy. Way to scare him. Hey, Kataris, he's not an easy out by any means. He can end it as well as Getsy could have.
So he hasn't had many plate appearances this year, but it seems like just about every time he comes to the plate, you know, the game is in the balance. So Kane with the single to open the inning. He stole second. Now 2 outs. Gets with the intentional walk. And Kataris takes high and away for ball 1.
George has a really calm approach at the plate. He doesn't jump around. You know, he's not up there hyperventilating. He's really calm in his at-bats. He knows all he had to do is just put his hands on the ball.
Laid out the tough pitch there, riding away from him. 2 balls and no strikes.
Got a good idea what he does up there.
Alex Gordon is on deck. Strike. Borderline pitch.
Kataris is telling himself if he throws me that same pitch again, I'm going to get a base hit to left field.
And below the knees for ball 4. They walked him again. So now it's Omagrosso and Gordon. And with the bases loaded, there's nowhere to put Alex Gordon.
All right, let's go back to Detroit. Just to refresh your memory, if you haven't, you witnessed his first grand slam ever in a downpouring rain that went way out of the yard in center. Doesn't need that here. A lousy doinker, any kind of infield hit will do the job.
After the first pitch, right field, Rios is back. It's over his head. And the comeback kids have done it again.
Looks like Rios might have hurt himself, and that hopefully they don't hurt Gordon at the bottom of that pile. But it looked like to me he had a beat on catching that ball, and all of a sudden, I don't know if he strained a muscle in his legs or what. But that ball fell a winner.
Second walk-off hit of the year for Alex Gordon. The Royals have won 17 games this year, 11 in come-from-behind fashion, and they had to come from behind twice today.
The young Royals refuse to lose. They're in every single game, whether it's just 9 innings or even 10. That makes them 3-0 in extra inning games this year. And again, sending the Kauffman crowd home happy.
It'll go down as a single, even though it landed over Rios' head. A single and an RBI. Alex with 2 RBIs today. And both of his RBIs put the Royals in front.
Bases loaded, first ball swinging. That's the best idea. Good game plan. Gordon, his eyes lit up. Now let's see Rios going back to it. He didn't.
I don't know if he got a good read.
No, he didn't. He thought it was going to be more of a routine ball. Just kept carrying. That wind pulled it some.
Well, we're about to hear from Alex down on the field, but while Joel Goldberg Joel's been a co-conspirator for the Gatorade bath for so long. The Royals get a win on his birthday, and this time it was Joel getting the Gatorade bath before we even got on the air. I don't know who they were aiming for.
No, I know exactly
well, he got
who
the
they
end
were
of
aiming
it.
For. There's a reason why Alex wasn't even moving. He knew that was coming towards me. I had a feeling this might be the day, but Moose missed. And but here we go. Lots of love for the man with the walk-off win. Thanks, Moose. All right, guys, congratulations. Hey, you got some, too. How did you end up getting that? Alex, let's start with you. You got to figure guitarist will draw a walk because he draws walks. So what's your mindset there as you're coming up?
Yeah, George coming off the bench always puts together great at-bats, and that's what he did. Was able to draw that walk, and, I was just trying to be aggressive. I had a rough day today, but, baseball's a crazy game. You get a lot of opportunities, and Billy was able to get a big hit for us, so that was huge. Great job by Billy and, everybody on the team. It was a great comeback.
2 strikes, 2 outs. You'd been hitting the ball hard all day. We were saying you were due, Billy. Take us back to that huge hit, which brings the team back into it.
I was just trying to make something happen, and, got a good pitch, and, just battled, fouled off a couple pitches, and, got a big hit for us, and couldn't happen in a better situation for us, and, a big hit by Alex over here in extras, and, it's just the way this team is. We're resilient.
I got to ask both of you because you guys have been here really longer than just about anybody in there. Luke's been here for a while, too. Just what it's like to be able to come to the park every day and not just hope to win, but believe you're going to win.
Yeah, we have, all 9 guys, all 25 guys actually pulling for the same thing, and that's having fun and winning games. So no matter what you're doing out there, it's all about winning, and that's the kind of attitude we have right now.
Billy, how about for you to finally see this team where you've wanted it to be for so long?
This is a lot of fun, and, we put a lot of hard work in, and, we couldn't be happier.
All right, guys, we'll let you go dry off a little bit, I guess, and we'll see you back here to face Chris Sale tomorrow. Good job.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Billy Butler and Alex Gordon. Well, Ryan, I just had a feeling that Gatorade bucket was coming to me, and, you always say don't give it away with the eyes. I saw Moose's eyes lock with mine. I knew it was coming. I'm not really that wet. I deserve more. Maybe next time.
Well, happy birthday. And Joel was saying earlier, the least they could do is get a win on my birthday. And how about Rex Hudler with the call back in the bottom of the second inning? Who scored the winning run on the Alex Gordon base hit? We will revisit that when we come back. Royals win at 6-5 and 10.